Hello, and thank you so much for joining us for your ROH post show. I'm so excited to be here with Reg. Oh, there we are. We just went live. Sorry, I got a little laggy there. Hello, how are you? We're redoing the intro on air this time. How about that, Reg?
We right here, right into it. Straight up. Hello, everybody. It's ROH post show with Reg and Kate. We are out.
There, see, you don't even need a host anymore. You're taking it away.
That's it. Easy as that.
I love it. I was just so anxious to talk about Ring of Honor. I'm so excited.
What a shocking ending we got, too. I'm still kind of like, whoa, unexpected stuff's going on here. Wow.
I know. I figured when they were closing with the pure title instead of the world title, something cool must have been going on, but I didn't think it was going to be that. That's pretty rad. But before we dive into anything, I'm going to ask you, wonderful people watching at home, to get in your super chats, get in your humper chats. This is your ROH post show for episode 3 of our rebooted ROH for March 16th. I'm so excited to talk about it. And Reg, off the bat, I got to say, these 2 hours fly by.
So
I was like, the past 2 weeks, I felt like ROH was my favorite show. And then yesterday, we got just the most incredible episode of Dynamite.
Yeah.
And I was like, I don't think it's gonna beat it out. But when you get Willie Mack twerking in the ring, like in the first 15 minutes of the show,
I mean, if there's any way to kick it off and try to have a competition to that Dynamite last night, it's Willie Mack twerking in the ring with Claudio on his way. Yeah, it's the only way.
I think so too. But we got a whole lot more than that. Whew, I love that we get through 10 matches in 2 hours. Things move quick here. Absolutely adore.
Were there 10 matches?
There were 10 matches again.
That's crazy. Like, I can't, my brain is like, no, there were not 10 matches. Those go by way too quickly, but in a good way. Like, I don't know. I'm blown away that they keep doing this 10 match format. Like, remember before the show started, we were all like, how long is the show going to be? What's the debate? Blah, 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 blah. But it's like, no, this 2 hours is like perfect. It goes by awesome.
So quickly. I think the style that they film in, there's not a lot of filler. I think having no commercials, of course, not only helps with you just have more time to play with, but the pacing just flies by on these. And it helps when you start with something like a world title match. I was surprised this went on first. I was delighted to see it, though. Claudio and Willie Mack, just so much fun here. So much fun to get us started. Willie Mack just immediately almost has that thing like Willow does where you're like, I'm just immediately in love with you. Like from the second you step out from behind the curtain. So much fun. Great to see him getting a spotlight here too. I feel like he's kind of been on the cusp for a while. So to see him show up in ROH in a world title match is really, really fun. But ultimately, Claudio goes over with the flash uppercut on Willie Mack for the pinfall. Loved the innovative twerking offense that we got. I think Faye Jackson was out there tweeting that was stolen from her. That's some infringement right there. But man, this hit really, really hard. This was laying some stuff in. I really liked this. I don't think every Cesaro match needs a swing, especially as a heel. Like we can just get down to some good old fashioned nasty pro wrestling, which is what we got in this opener. And word for me, Reg, what did you think?
Oh, this is beautiful. The finish, Claudio just destroying Willie Mack with that European uppercut just out of nowhere. Claudio has so many things in his arsenal that he could do, so many ways he could finish a match. Ricola bomb, uppercuts, sharpshooter. He could do anything. And just to know that how the Blackpool Combat Club is doing this heel thing and they're just gritty, and now he's just like, no, I'm just gonna throw a really hard uppercut and just destroy this guy. This was a PWG Reseda match for me. This is a match I would see back in the day out there. We're all sweaty. Willie Mack's on his way. Claudio is just like the most incredible pro wrestler when it's like ring the bell. He could do anything on either side. He's incredible. He's antagonizing Eddie Kingston at every corner. This was perfect way to start the show. And yeah, the same Willie Mack, I've had a relationship and things, wanted to interact with this man for a really long time. I think 2010 is the first time I ever saw him wrestle. My friend was wrestling at a place and he was like, you have to see this guy, Willie Mack. He's an incredible pro wrestler. And like, since the first time, it was wrestling love at first sight, like seeing this guy and like, you know, he's a black wrestler. He looks like me, like all the things. And then the bell rings and he's just so charismatic and he's doing these moonsaults and he's doing these big frog splashes and he's twerking and infringing on Faye Jackson's intellectual property. She's not going to be happy about that at all. I want no parts of this. I know she's upset about it, but no, this is great. Great showcase. Claudio is mean and nasty, just like the rest of his homies are right now. Loved it.
Yeah, I don't know. We might end up with another court case with Faye Jackson.
Honestly, yeah.
Willie Mack, but
yeah.
Shout out to ROH TV popping in and saying hi. Hi back to
what's
you.
Up, ROH? That's super cool.
That is super cool. We got a little love on Wednesday podcast I do, the Mark Order podcast, not on Fightful, but AEW popped in there and we appreciate it. We appreciate the hello. Cool. So it's super rad. But yeah, I thought this was fun. It was a really fun opener too. I do feel like the crowd, you could tell it was like pretty dense tapings because they go up and down a lot. But
yeah,
starting with a world title match, you're just got to be right back in it, right?
Exactly.
So some really, really good stuff there. Was very, very happy to see it. And I was not the only one. We got some love from Meet Normus, who very supportive here at Fightful all the time, saying, "Sup, Kate and Reg." Whoops, my chats are a little weird. I'm loving ROH. Willie Mack looks like my Uncle Danny at the cookout after too much gin.
Straight
Kate,
up.
I've hired Smart Mark to investigate the fake Kate on QTV. Help me in touch. Some people were noticing that there was a blonde gal with bangs, and I'll just tell you, I'm not mad about being compared to her. She's a beautiful gal.
Thinking back about it now, I'm like, wait a second. Wait a second here.
She had a feather pen too. I was like, all right.
Okay.
You're right. What's going on here? I loved the QTV stuff. Perfect. I loved it. I'll never admit it to him, but I loved it. Really, really fun.
No QT slander on my timeline. Big homie really got his off at the end. So yeah, we're on our way.
I know that is correct. Some really, really fun stuff in this next match as well. So get in those super chats and humper chats about it if you would, because I know I want to talk about Dante Martin and Mike Bennett. Holy cow.
Goodness gracious, Kate. These guys really went at it.
I feel like Mike Bennett was viewed as a reliable hand, and he is. But he's so much more than a guy who can give people good matches. This has been a really great showcase of it. Dante Martin wins with a full Nelson slam here. I loved how this match was put together for so many reasons. Some of those corner spots were nuts. But what I loved about this match was I feel like since coming over to AEW and ROH, Mike Bennett has gotten to show how versatile he is. He can work with any opponent and make them look great. And Dante, I feel like we got to see a bit of a different side of here. I feel like we know the insane things he can do, but there was a lot of times in this match where I feel like his strength was showcased, which we don't always get to see a ton. Nobody had like a huge size advantage in this, I don't think. So it was kind of a nice matchup from that regard too, but I felt like these guys tore it down. This is what I love about ROH is you see this work rate on what's kind of just like regular TV or regular streaming. Like this is a really, really high quality match where both of these guys showed out, man.
Yeah. This was, oh man, like Mike Bennett is like such a tremendous veteran in the way that he like leads matches and the way that he strikes and the way that he pile drives people on the ramps and the way that he structures things and uses his veteran instincts to carry any wrestler to a great match. Dante Martin, his strikes here in this match at points, the point where Mike Bennett was up and he hit him with that enziguri on the top rope, and it was just like I don't like that move because like too many wrestlers do it, but that one's like one of the best ones I've ever seen, followed up by that DVD into the Rana. Dante Martin hit that double through the legs frog splash from the heavens.
Ridiculous.
Oh my goodness, just beautiful work from both people here. I love that the Kingdom's bringing out this aggressive streak in Top Flight. Both guys are really angry. They're not just going out there with flips. They're still flips because everybody knows that flips are the best. But there are some angry elements, some more aggressive elements from both members of Top Flight. And so in the end here, the Kingdom tried to get one over, but Top Flight is not taking that. So yeah, it's I'm liking what's going on here. I'm excited to see where they are at Supercard of Honor. Are they going to go with just a regular one-on-one tag match or 2-on-2 tag match, or are they going to be a part of the Reach for the Sky ladder match? So it's interesting developments.
We did kind of see them playing both sides of the fence a little bit, and both trios and the tag division. You mentioned kind of later we saw a nice promo that spoke to the anger that you were talking about. I loved this from Dante. Dante challenges the Kingdom and tells them to either step up or take flight. He's gonna light Taven's ass up next week.
That promo was awesome from both of them. They were really just like locked in. They felt comfortable. Like usually we've seen a couple of the Dante promos where we're like, okay, he's like getting comfortable. But no, here in ROH, they're like, yo, we're top flight and we're cool and everybody loves us and we'll beat you up. So what do you want?
We've said it a couple times that it just feels like everybody is so comfortable here. And that showed through with Dante as well. And to your point about flips being the best, I do feel like even for people who are anti-flippy-do, which I think it's kind of lame to not like a specific style of wrestling. But I do feel like, man, when you can combine it with some of the spots that we saw today with Dante, where it feels so logical and so rooted and intentional, that kind of silences those critics a little bit because everything is still so efficient. None of it feels superfluous or overdone in any way. But this is
it's not just flips for flips. I love flips for flips, but Dante Martin has like matured into like being this wrestler that he knows that if he hits flips at certain points, it's going to get an even bigger pop. So he's like using it in better situations instead of just going out there being amazing. He is still amazing, but it's amazing for a reason now because he's growing up. We love it.
I agree. And I think that's also a symptom of Mike Bennett's veteran experience. Like you said before, like he's just pulling really, really awesome matches out of people. And we saw it with Darby, right? In the main event of Rampage a while back. Like that was another one where I was just like, man, he's doing some really, really great work. But after this, we did see post-match Matt Taven attacking Dante. After the match, I love Darius's reaction here too. It just felt very authentic and
like that's my brother. What are y'all doing?
Yeah. If someone beat my sister's ass down, that's how I would act. I would be very upset and I would get in there and help her. So just very organic, very, very easy feeling, a little less formulaic. Like we don't always get post-match beatdowns or whatever. So this was kind of nice. This was really good. I couldn't believe this was just a second match on regular television.
See, exactly what you're saying. We're getting such high quality matches. Like every week, it's been like 3 super high quality could be main event matches that are just like on this ROH show to further storylines.
I think that's why it's so easy to watch. Is you're never like nothing's ever lagging at all. Mike from Indeed on the Fightful Overbook channel saying Dante Martin is Michelin star spot food.
Straight up. That's real. 100%. He does things still. And I'm like, how? How do you do that?
It's crazy. And RH saying, you're just missing one letter, RH. You're right there. I'm watching Bennett Martin
the O's now. Invisible.
Laying in those strikes. You're right.
No, like, Dante was really giving it up today.
Yeah, and it tells the story of them getting angrier, to your point. I really, really liked it. So good stuff. And just keep on moving along. It's so refreshing how my rundown is just so match focused. I appreciate that about this program. But we get Metalik and Blake Christian defeating the Trustbusters in another great match. I'm worried these post shows are going to get a little boring because it's just like these matches we're just going to be like, well,
that was awesome. That was great. Good one. That was a great one too. It's like, okay.
Remember that one? That great match? Yeah, that was dope. But
you guys talked about 10 really good matches. Boring.
That's it. Like, there's not a lot of flash here. I don't know what to tell you, but I can talk about ROH all day. Metalik winning with the Metalik driver on Slim J for the pinfall. Metalik is so fantastic. And cool. I don't know, something with him and Slim J, their chemistry today was just really good. Like, Slim J really showed out in this a lot, which is important because his gimmick not only feels silly, but can feel certainly a little dated, I would say. But he is who he is. And but he can go, man. This was super fun. And I think episode 3, we talked about this a little bit last week, still a little predictable because you're establishing who's going to be profiled a little bit more. Some people are going to be there to kind of take pins. I don't know if that's going to be the case entirely here with the Trustbusters, but like this feels like, especially from what we see later, Metalik and Blake Christian are going to be pushed pretty heavily, and I couldn't be happier about that.
Yeah, I liked a lot of things that were in this match. Metalik and Blake Christian are a really cool tag team. The end of the finishing stretch of this was really strong. There was a lot of great action going on. The Metalik driver at the end was dope. Slim J plays a really good role here. He has been his entire run here in not only ROH, but in AEW. His veteran role and the way that he is still like he was in 2002. So he still fits that role, but then he's also a totally different wrestler than that at the same time. And him and Davari are really great tag team. I don't know if to your point, they're going to play that. I don't want to say jobber because that's rude, but are they going to play the fall guys role every time that they're in the match? Is it going to, because it felt like that. It's like, okay, they're setting this up to be, they're setting up the Metalik and Christian and eventually AR Fox stuff to being one of those tag teams. So I don't know, but if they're going to be having great matches like this and Slim J is going to be playing this big, strong, I like that part where he just like was doing the short arm clotheslines. I was like, man, Slim J's looking strong out there. And then he hit this like springboard reverse DDT thing that was super cool. I'm like, okay, I like exactly what's going on here. So this match was fun too, back to back. Not another, I can't say a bad word about it. Like it all was awesome.
Before we move on, I do want to ask you, because the Trustbusters, who are they now? Like, are we gonna get to see Sunny Kiss? No. I want to see Sunny Kiss on my screen, and
I do too.
It doesn't seem like Sunny Kiss is a part of this anymore, and we know that other people have moved on to other things, right? Swerve Stable has been absorbing, so like, were they just a really short-lived faction? What's going on here? Because Sunny Kiss should be on one of my screens, my computer screen, my TV screen. I should be.
I'd like to see Sunny Kiss over here in Ring of Honor if that's what's going on. Like if you're not going to use Sunny over here, Sunny will be great over here in Ring of Honor. I don't know what this is. I don't know what, because like isn't Davari a part of like a different squad too with Mark Sterling and some other gang or something? Like it's too convoluted, it's too mixed up. Like just what's going on here? It's a weird team off rip anyways. But yeah, I think the moral of this story is Sunny Kiss. We need Sunny Kiss somewhere out here. That's it.
100%. I feel like Sunny Kiss should have been a baddie. Seems like we missed the boat on that one a little bit.
Kind of missed the boat.
So I'm hearing Sunny Kiss was on Dark with the Trustbusters on Tuesday. So
we're even more confused.
Yeah, exactly. I think some of that has to do with the ambiguity around who's in a tag team, who's in the trios division. I'm thinking that all gets settled a little bit more after Supercard. And I think they're figuring that out in AEW as well. It seems like they're starting to draw those lines a little bit, which I'm excited about.
They are.
So good stuff there. We also get a video package right after this, which just, I love how quick this moves. I like that about Rampage too. Sometimes we get video packages and you're not like, all right, where's the popcorn? We got a video package. It's just like, it's a minute long.
Yeah.
It's super clean.
Just give me the story. I don't need like the whole thing. Like give it up really quick.
Yeah, and just an advancement of the story. Like not every video package has to be a recap. And I really like the use of that. But we got a nice one for Samoa Joe and Mark Briscoe, and we hear from Mark Briscoe reminding us that the TV championship is his destiny at Supercard. His destiny will be fulfilled. Very excited. So that match is official for Supercard of Honor. That card is looking to shape up to be crazy. I'm so excited about it. I should probably ask Sean if we're doing a post show about it. Saying that on camera, so I remind myself to do that later.
I'm gonna be there live too, so yeah. Los Angeles. Yeah. I'm very excited about it. So
we'll definitely find a window to talk about it. If that's immediately after or not, because that is going to be a dense
1,000,000%. But this Mark Briscoe promo was super cool. He gets into the Small Joe stuff, but he's like, but before that, Smart Mark came and interrupted me when I was trying to get my little promo off. So I'm about to beat up Tony Nese next week, and that's going to be a really cool match. Seeing Mark Briscoe on these shows, like, it's an unfortunate situation always that it had to kind of how we got here, and like knowing that previously this could have possibly not been happening, but being able to see him on a weekly basis on all the programs, being one of my top 5 favorite tag teams of all time, I love it. So I'm super excited about what's going to go on next week with Tony Nese, and the Samoa Joe match as Supercard of Honor is going to be a fight and a fire and just incredible.
They're gonna beat the hell out of each other.
Ugh.
You're gonna be there live for it.
Yes,
so
yes. Can't wait.
That rules. I'm so happy.
I mean, I had to be there. I'm the reason that it's happening. We all know the story. We don't have to recap it. It's fine.
It's true. I mean, it is. It is. You're the reason it's happening. The media man making CM Punk cry, booing MJF on the way out.
Just
Reg.
keep marking my list up. Keep marking my list up.
Moves over there, Reg. I'm happy about it.
Yes.
I'm also happy we get Eddie Kingston versus Jeeves SK. The former VSK, the current Jeeves K. A fantastic talent. He did some good work at Impact under the Learning Tree. A phenomenal talent on the Indies for a long time before that as well. Very happy to see him getting a match here. Went the way
this was some shenanigans. Definitely, this whole thing. Eddie Kingston was just trying to antagonize Claudio the whole time. Claudio's coming out. Of course, he has coffee, because if he's not in the wrestling ring, there's a coffee cup in his hand. So that was probably the most believable part of this whole scene, I think. It's just Claudio out there randomly with a cup of coffee. Because, like, if you see Claudio out somewhere and he's not uppercutting somebody, he's drinking coffee.
He probably could do both. He's got one.
Honestly, I'm surprised he hasn't yet.
To me, that's more impressive than the swing, to be honest. If you can lay in the uppercut to the level he does with a coffee and not spill it on yourself, people don't realize that's where the real skill is. That's where the real skill is.
I don't know how he doesn't have a sponsorship yet for a coffee, but
I know it's happening. It's coming. Everybody's still getting used to being a free independent contractor,
a real life independent contractor.
Like,
yes, exactly.
I can go out and get my own sponsors. But that is how this ends. Claudio Castagnoli is watching the match at ringside with his coffee spilled on him because Eddie Kingston just tosses Jeeves Gay right where he was seated at ringside. Love Eddie mouthing off here. Hilarious. Love this guy. He's just the most made for Kate wrestler in the world.
Totally.
He came out with blood on his face and a gasoline can in his hand, and it stole my heart. I loved him before that, but you come out looking like a zombie in your bloodied up Yankee shirt with the gasoline can. I'm in love with you. That's how it ends. But ending with a stretch plum here for the win. Good stuff. This story just keeps advancing. I love this for Eddie. I love him being in a title picture. The way he quit AEW, I thought was like a really fun thing because he's just so believable in everything he does that you know he's there. He can say the 1099 thing. It's the same holding company.
Totally, you're all the same. Tony Khan's back there either way, bro.
Yeah, your tax return says Tony Khan. You know, it's coming from the same guy, but super fun stuff here. And I just loved Claudio at ringside. He just looks so damn cool. Yeah. I much prefer the Blackpool Combat Club heel, and we're going to talk about that in the main event a little bit too, but they're just so badass, and they should be cocky with how good they are. Like,
totally.
Is that where
it's
you're
believable?
At too?
Yeah, it's believable when it's like Moxley's up there and it's like, damn, he really is a badass in this world. And then Claudio keep showing like, you guys thought I was this person, but I'm really this person. And we're like, oh shit. And then in the main event, we'll really get into what this person is transformed into that I just can't believe. I like that Eddie Kingston is like, okay, I'm just gonna piss Claudio off into getting this match. Like, he's not gonna accept me as being this honorable person. I'm just gonna make him so mad that I'm gonna force him into this match. And each week Claudio keeps being like, oh, I hate this one. Because why was he out there if you don't care about him? If you don't care about him, Claudio, why are you sitting in the front row being so invested in his match, huh?
Why you sit out there in your high fashion and your coffee? I'm with you. Eddie's getting under his skin. A very clever way to tell that story, just to have someone at ringside. But super fun stuff there. Absolutely just so in on Eddie Kingston. And speaking of people I am in on, this version of Athena, holy hell. This was Athena versus Hyan in a Proving Ground match. I'm so excited to see Proving Ground matches back, Reg. So if you aren't familiar, and someone had commented last week that they appreciate when I slow down and explain certain things to them because they're watching ROH for the first time. They didn't know about Pure Division and things like that. So a Proving Ground match has a 10-minute time limit. And if the person in it can hang with the champ for that long, meaning not lose, or if they win within that time, they get a title shot. So what I love about Proving Ground matches is it's a really great way to set up a title shot outside the rankings. You can have someone earn that title shot without your champion actually losing. And you can also pull a fun upset here. And it just immediately makes that person feel really important. So you're not pinning your champion for no reason. There's something at stake here if you do decide to have your champion lose, but buddy, that's not the way this one went.
Yeah, no, Athena's like, yeah, okay, cool, Kate. Don't care about none of that stuff you're just talking right there.
She's like, that's cute. Put whatever stipulations you want on. I don't
say
care.
whatever. You can call this match whatever you want. We could put the title on the line. It's not going to matter. I'm going to destroy this person. And Hyan's an incredible talent. She has a lot of great things coming up. Great to see her back here. But this Athena is just angry. I feel like every single match that she has is like she's proven a point of her whole career of like, y'all thought I was this, y'all thought y'all can do this and put me in these positions, but this is who I am. And so every single time that I'm on screen, I'm going to be the best wrestler in the world. And she's in contention to be the best wrestler, not just women's wrestler, but all of wrestling, because she is just locked in right now. And Hyan, this beating you took here, I'm sorry. I'm sorry.
Dear God. Athena wins with the cross face here, but she actually won this match a little earlier. She actually won this match at that sunset bomb on the floor. Dear Lord.
I'm sorry.
R.I.P. Hyan's back. I'm so sorry. That looked brutal. But I also just love it's more than confidence. It's like a vicious confidence.
It's more than confidence. Yeah, whatever the next level above confidence, that's the level that Athena is at right now.
Yeah, and it's with an anger. It's not like a cool guy thing either. Like it's a really, really fun flavor that I don't think we have a lot of in women's wrestling right now. Like we've seen characters like this before, but right now this feels kind of unique to her.
It does.
Which I love it. I absolutely love it. Post-match, we of course get her slamming Hyan's head into the title.
Yeah.
Jeez Louise, beating up referees. And it feels so it's not like I beat her head into the title or look at me up in this rough face. Like it feels so authentic. I feel like sometimes post-match stuff can just feel like and then there was a beatdown. This all feels so fluid from her.
Everything really does. Fluidity is a great way to describe it because it feels like this time it won't be a post-match beatdown. And she's like, let me just get my little belt. No, I'm going to get you a post-match beatdown every time. I was just kidding. And then it's like the post-match beatdown is always brutal and adding on to her character of like, I'm going to beat you up in the match. The match is going to be over before it's over. Then it's going to be over. Then I'm going to beat you up some more. So everybody knows when you're in the ring with me, it's not going to be an easy night. Athena.
Yeah. Oh, and it feels like those post matches are getting more and more vicious as we go on too, which is just fun. Like that's just.
It's just like she's like, send me some real competition, you guys. I'm going to keep beating these people up so bad that you just better. I'm going to force you to give me somebody that I don't do this to. It's a great story.
11-0 in Ring of Honor too. Quickly climbing the charts. Later, we see her get interviewed backstage, and she says that Yuka Sakazaki is in Japan because she's afraid of her. Challenges her to a match at Supercard. This card is super.
It's a supercard. It's a supercard. It's real.
There's no joke with that. No
what
joke.
A great way, great name. I mean, that was always a Supercard was always historically one of the best shows of the year for Ring of Honor and one of the most action packed. But what's great about this card over most Supercard of Honors, because it's been attached to Mania weekends for so long, that a lot of them were like super cards, which means we're going to bring in people from Japan, we're going to bring in people from Mexico, we're going to bring in all these outsiders because we're in an area with so many outsiders. But this super card of honor is so Ring of Honor that it's like they're like, we don't need no outsiders. We're going to get the people that we've been building on this show for the last couple weeks to be the super card. But the matches that they are announcing are super. So it's like, let's go. I'm excited.
No joke. A lot of love for this match too. Shame Monster saying Athena out the gate is in the running for Woman of the Year. I agree. Yep. I would expand that to even just say Wrestler of the Year. This is such fun work from her.
1000%.
Where did that comment go? Man, my StreamYard hating me today.
Yep.
Hating me. There it goes. There it goes. But we did get another wonderful chat from Brett Lockman, who said Athena is a super villain at this point, daring people to stop her, knowing that few can. That's a really great way to put it. I'm just like, try me, man.
Yeah, seriously. She's like, do it. I'm right here. You know where to find me.
It kind of feels like when people didn't hate Ronda Rousey, when she was in UFC and she was on the run that she was, this feels like the pro wrestling version of that a little bit. She was talking a ton of shit because she could, because she was destroying everyone. It was awesome. RH saying Athena is on a level all on her own and she's owning everyone on every level. I'm so happy to see her climb and grow from when she started to now. I gotta say, like, I try not to do the comparison across the pond thing, especially with like talent that have worked in both places. There's so many factors that go into how someone presents you, but watching this tonight, I was like, it is actually comical, sincerely comical that they were like, funny. You need to wear fishnets.
Yeah, whatever. Like it's funny at this point when you see her in the match and you're like, oh, this is why you were so angry that they were trying to get you to do all this bullshit, because you were like, no, I know if you guys give me the ball, I'm going to run it all the way in and shove it down your throat and kick it down your throat and shove it down your throat some more. Like she's shown that's why I'm saying, like, every match, every opportunity, every time she's on camera, she's like, no, I'm Athena. I'm the best in the whole world. I don't care. It's great to see. She's so cool.
She is so cool. It's really refreshing. It's really refreshing. Whatever happened to that Jody Threat match, man, was like the best thing for her. I don't know what it was, but whatever happened.
I don't know what kind of switch happened. I don't know what she ate that day, how she woke up, what side of the bed she was on that morning, but whatever it was, thank you.
We are here for it, but we have a quick promo. This was a little confusing to me. I don't have a lot of complaints about tonight's show, and I don't even know if this is a complaint. I'm just a little confused, but we get Metalik and Blake Christian, who are interviewed backstage, talking about how happy they are to be in ROH together. Christian said he made a call to AR Fox, and they accept the Trustbusters challenge for next week's show. Says to keep a close eye on the trios match later in the night. So, like, AR Fox can't just be for rent. I don't want that.
I think he is, though.
It seems like he is. Look, he has shown that you can plug him into just about any situation and he's going to put on a Star Maker performance, period. But I think part of it is because Top Flight is here, like in this promotion
and it just kind of happened. Like, they're still like, in a week, Tony Khan will announce another Dynamite match with like AR Fox and Top Flight. So in that case, it does kind of make it weird. Like, well, isn't he their friend? Why is he your guys' friend now? But that's honestly AR Fox's characters. He's everybody's homie. So like, if you're like, damn, who could we call? Oh, let's call AR Fox. He'll come through. And then AR Fox is like, yeah, I'll definitely come through. And then there you go.
Think you want to go put on an incredible match? All right, yeah, no, I'm game.
That sounds fun. Let's do it.
No complaints about that. I have no complaints about seeing that trio, I don't think, but it's just a little bit like, that's what I mean about kind of the ambiguity about, are they a trio in AEW and then Top Flight's a tag team here? But I think
I can understand that.
Yeah, I think that's just baby steps of kind of identifying who's on what roster and in what capacity, which if that's my biggest complaint, I'll take it. Because that's a really, really easy complaint to solve and kind of a fun one to have, to be honest.
Right.
And then we get something that I didn't even know was like on the radar. I hadn't seen this in any of the spoilers. I was so excited to see Silas Young back in action.
That was cool.
Yeah, we got
Both
him
these
versus...
things, this whole angle was really cool.
I like what this set up. I thought this was a fun intro. Silas Young is just one of those guys that you look at him and you're like, I understand who you are entirely.
Mhm.
Like, he is a moment in time of a type of wrestler. It's not even like the tagline or anything of who he is, but you can just, every ounce of who he is kind of fits exactly what he presents. It's so much fun. He wins with the PG Waha plunge. He wins with the plunge.
Yeah.
Marcus Cross with the pinfall here. But he cuts a promo after the match, which I really liked. He kind of makes a case for himself for the next TV champion. Really, really liked this. And he's interrupted by Shane Taylor, one of the best themes in wrestling. Twitter was blowing up about what a banger of a theme it is.
Yep, I liked it a lot.
Shane Taylor says he was the most dominant television champion in ROH history, and he challenges Silas Young next week. Yep. This is the type of stuff I love to see. This isn't for the title, but this is for the pride that's kind of around it, and probably moving up for a contendership of some sort. We'll probably see rankings of some sort come back into play on this. I thought this was great. I'm so happy to see Shane Taylor back in ROH. He was doing such cool work before ROH shut down. His you want to talk about 1 minute backstages that were impactful. When Maria Kanellis was running the women's tournament and Trisha Adora was in it and lost, she had such a great showcase there, and she came backstage and was just sobbing. And you see her with her head in her hands, and Shane Taylor just reach his hand out and say, "You're the queen. Your head should never be down. We're gonna show you who Trisha. We're gonna show the world who Trisha Adora is." I was in tears, and it took only a minute. I watched it back today and had the same just like goosebumps emotional reaction. And I wonder, it's so open right now. If he's challenging for the television title, I would guess he's probably on a solo run, but we'll see if STP comes back into play. Some of his guys are elsewhere doing other things, so that works. But I was just thinking about what an effective promo that was and what an asset Shane Taylor is in that way. Are you as excited about this as I am? I'm happy to see him there.
Yeah, I liked a lot about what went on here in this match with Silas Young. Of course, I always like to see throwbacks to Ring of Honor, and Silas Young is a big throwback to Ring of Honor. He had a Silas Young style match and a Silas Young style promo. Shane Taylor coming back is awesome to see because he worked so hard, along with Jonathan Gresham, like we talked about a couple weeks ago. He worked so hard to get the brand of Ring of Honor over when a lot of people weren't really checking for Ring of Honor. And he carried that Ring of Honor championship, television championship, like he said, with great, he really did it. And so I love to see the both of them squaring off here. And yeah, that theme is pretty fire, honestly. Like, I'm liking that a lot. So wherever they're going here, another thing that I liked about it was the Silas Young saying, I want to be Ring of Honor television champion. Anybody establishing championships that's not directly in line, I'm always a huge fan of that because that's how pro wrestling should be. I always say that every world championship should be like the 24/7 title was. Like, people should just be running after. Like, you should be backstage and people should be like, let me get that belt. Like, that's the belt. That's why we're all here. Like, why is everybody just casually being like, it's great to win a match? No, I want to be the champ. I want to fight that fool next. Like, I want to see him next week. I'm going to go find him backstage right now. Like, it should be like sought after. So everybody should always be heading towards a championship, not just like, I'm happy to be here, I'm having a great time. No, you need to tell these people what you want. And Silas Young came out and told us what we want, what he wants.
Especially in these earlier episodes, like especially in the kind of establishing episodes, like make those titles feel important off the bat. I'm totally with you on that. And I'm just going to remind the good people watching us to stay tuned for the Impact Post show right after this. We're coming down the home stretch. We got a little bit more to get through here, but more fun stuff going on after this. If you tuned in last week and you didn't get a chance to see Cresta because she was out sick, you get to see Cresta the star.
She's back.
She's the best. Very glad. Glad she's feeling better, like person to person. But Cresta the star is a star. She's such a blast. You're just gonna fall absolutely in love with her. She's just so contagiously passionate about.
She's cool.
Impact.
Definitely stick around.
and Joel will be there. But more importantly, also send in your super chats, send in your Humper chats to get your question or statement read on air. With Humper chats too, if you're watching this after, I think especially because this is streaming, we get a lot of views, thankfully. After we're live, if you have questions that you want to send in, yes, thank you for that. We appreciate it. You go to humperchats.com and just mark that as for me and Reg, and we can answer it the following week. I know some people were saying like, oh, I can't watch it live. But we appreciate you watching whenever you choose to. That's the benefit of a streaming service, and we appreciate you keeping up with us on that. So
cool.
Thank you for that. And we move right along. I just love it. I love it. Oh, we do have a chat here that says, welcome back, STP. Shocked not one promotion signed Shane Taylor in 2022. Seeing him back in ROH just feels right. Insert him immediately in the World Championship picture and hook it right to my veins. I do feel like he should get there. I think him versus Eddie Kingston would be a hell of a program if they put Eddie over. My goodness.
Those promos will be crazy.
They really would. They really would. They're like so operate from like similar places. I feel like
they do.
Such a blast.
Those blue collar badass boys. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, exactly. I think I think Shane Taylor is almost in the Eddie Kingston camp where his best strength is also kind of not a weakness, but makes him not need to necessarily be near a title to make you feel invested. That's how I always felt. But that being said, he was doing great work with the 6-man titles before ROH shut down too. Really, really fun stuff. So I hope that he's around to stay for sure.
Yeah. And I think we'll see the rest of the Shane Taylor promotions here very soon. I think they're just going to try to establish Shane Taylor for a little bit, but I'm sure that they'll be somewhere here behind him.
I think so too. It feels like, especially with the trios division, that's the thing we probably know the least about with ROH. So hopefully we'll get to see that. Hopefully we'll get to see in full force STP.
But I mean, one match we're gonna come up here with talking about later. One of these members that used to be in Shane Taylor's promotions. Yeah, let's get to that. I have a lot of thoughts on that match, honestly.
Yeah. Do you? Okay, well, let's get right into the ROH World 6-man Tag Team Championship match. The Embassy, Brian Cage, Khan, and Toa Leona. With Prince Nana, of course. Commentary, great again tonight, doing great work putting over Prince Nana for people who might not have seen him before. Versus Dalton Castle and Brendan and Brent Tate. The boys. Shea Monster saying, so Leona murdered a boy with that apron sent on. That
was so brutal.
R.I.P. Brandon Boy. I think it was Brandon.
Your head. I don't know if it was either a good sell or ouch, but yes, brutal.
Quite possibly a little bit of both. Yeah, quite possibly, but brutal. Khan winning here, pinning both the boys at the same time to retain the titles. Loved the storytelling here. I thought the strategy off the bat from the Embassy was like take them out at the head, right? Take out Dalton, and you're kind of working with two guys who are looking for their leader a little bit. I thought that was super, super fun.
Yeah.
But you said you have a lot of thoughts here. What do you think?
Yeah, the Embassy and this team with Cage and Toa and Khan, I haven't really been 100% on them for most of this. I like all these guys individually. I think that they're very talented. I'm PWG young boy, so Brian Cage has been one of my favorites for a long time. And I don't know, I just haven't felt like things have clicked until tonight. This match right here that these guys had was awesome. They were all super brutal. Toa when he was hitting on the mat and the way that he was that senton on the apron was so brutal. Khan looked like $1 million. He looked awesome. He looks great. He sells great. He destroys people. The way that they were doing the tag maneuvers together. And Brian Cage is Brian Cage. He's always has something crazy up his sleeve. But the way that they worked tonight to cut off the ring, to have the boys just fighting for their lives the whole time. I love that the boys used they kind of had that thing too of like the Darius Martin thing of like, that's my brother. Like anytime one of their brothers getting destroyed, they're like, no, I got to get in here to help. But the embassy was just smothering them the entire match, just destroying them. But when Dalton Castle eventually did get that hot tag, he looked great. He was fired up. Those reverse elbows he was hitting looked really good at a lot of points. Dalton Castle, I think, I like the stuff with the 6-man thing. And I think last week we might have predicted that the boys and Dalton Castle were going to take the titles here. But no, the embassy really destroyed them in this whole match. But I'd like to see Dalton Castle as a singles. I think the fire that he showed here and the fire that he always shows, I think he'd be a great contender for a number of the titles in Ring of Honor. So I'm excited to see what he does here from the future. But the way that the embassy looked right here was what Prince Nana has been saying. Like, no, these guys are monsters. These guys are dangerous. These guys are the trios champions for a reason. And it showed tonight. I was very impressed.
I think part of why some people haven't been in on the embassy, other than it's just been kind of elusive, right? Tully was there and back and forth. I think it's kind of 3 guys that all work very similarly. I think some of the fun with trios is that you get to mention, like I say that about House of Black all the time. Like all 3 of those guys.
Those are 3 totally different guys.
Yeah. And so this feels a little bit like you're dealing with the same animal 3 different times. But tonight, when it's this type of wrestler, when it's someone this big and badass, there's ways to do that where that's really, really fun. Tonight was a good showcase of that. I think it just takes a little bit longer to find there, but some people were asking about Brian Cage's contract status a little bit in the chat. FightfulSelect.com had an update a couple weeks ago about that. Nothing new since then, so I'm not trying to get you to go over there to check out anything newer, but you can check out for details. There's been a lot of back and forth about where Brian Cage has been working, how long he's been there. We do know that he's working through Supercard of Honor at least, but that is all I will mention about that. Because I'm not breaking the paywall. Everybody else might be out there screenshotting. That's not what I'm doing out here.
Not today, you guys. You better give up your $5, you little haters.
That's right. It's $1.25 a week. Come on, people. Plus, you get great things like, I don't know, Ask Rhapsody behind the paywall.
Boom.
Pay-per-view post shows with me and Alex Flowski.
Boom, 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 boom,
there
boom.
It is. I don't know, breaking news like every day. Whatever, no big deal. Just go to FightfulSelect.com.
Stop trying to get it for free on the timeline, you little freaks.
Right. Or if you end up getting it for free, don't then also complain about that for some reason. That always blows my mind. Like, why would I pay? I'm just getting it for free. And I'm like, well, get it for free, weirdos. Like,
why are you in Sean Ross Sapp's comment saying that
for you then? I don't, man. Gotta calm down out there, people. After this match, we do get a continued beat down. And Blake Christian, AR Fox, and Metalik come out to save Dalton Castle and the boys because they're good guys. They chase off the embassy a little bit. Looks like we might be setting up for a little trio program there. Do you think that's what we get at Supercard?
Yeah, I'm thinking that's where this is leading. We have the match next week with the AR, Blake, and Metalik against the Trustbusters, which I think will advance more into. We're getting pretty close to the show, the big show. So yeah, I think that's where we're going with that. And that's another incredible, fast-paced, high-flying, intense match that's going to be added to this Supercard of Honor Supercard.
I'm so excited for this pay-per-view. These ROH, even when the promotion was shut down, the pay-per-views were insane. I'm like, how?
It's pretty rare where they don't have a great pay-per-view. Like I can't think of you could probably count on one hand like the bad ones they've had. So.
Agreed.
And for another one,
part of that is the quality of the matches, and also they're just so logically booked. That was one thing I really liked about NXT Black and Gold was the same deal of they kind of had a template and that worked. Like they had a well-oiled machine, and then they let the wrestlers fill in those gaps.
If it ain't broke, why fix it? Let's do it.
That's it.
We got more great wrestlers. All right, put them in. Let's do it. Let's go.
Speaking of great wrestlers. Second women's match of the night. Look how easy that is, Reg.
Wow. Who would have thunk it with some time?
Who would have thought I would come out here and be snarky about it even more? What a surprise.
Rare.
We have a hell of a match, though.
This match was tight, Kate. Oh, man, this match was tight.
So I'll say this was the best I think Madison Rayne has looked in her time for a bit. Trisha Adora hitting Madison Rayne with a lariat Tubman for the win, but a lot of fun spots in this match. I'll let you talk about it first, and then I'll see if there's anything else I want to call out here.
Yeah, this is, to your point, the best that Madison Rayne has looked. She has been just kind of helping out with Sky Blue, I think, for a lot along the way. And I think people just kind of forgot that, like, no, she's a former Impact champion, Impact Knockouts champion. She really used to be out there, like, going for it. In this match right here, I was even like, damn, Madison, you're really throwing them things today. This is great. Again, Trisha Adora with another incredible performance. Looks like $1 million from the entrance. Just is overly confident in the best way right now as a professional wrestler, knowing that there's nothing that this person across the ring from me can do to stop me, the momentum that I have right now. But Madison Rayne really brought everything that she had to this fight. She was really just throwing forearms, just trying to really knock Trisha Adora out. This was a hard-hitting, high-intense match. And I was thinking that all the women's matches that we've had in Ring of Honor have been kind of this, like, what the Ring of Honor women's division was created for. Like, the reason that they were like, well, we want to have, like, what's going on the men's side going on the women's side. Well, there for a lot of time it was non-existent. Like, we need to have more women so we can create the same thing with the women. I think every match that they've had, you know, especially that incredible main event last week, has shown that, like, yo, they are bringing exactly what they are here for. And this match right here was awesome. The match earlier in the show was great. It's like all this stuff is just great women's wrestling, great women's wrestlers. The women's division of ROH is starting to stack up to be one of the best in the world right now. Wow.
I screamed F word, yeah, at my television when I saw Madison Rayne in the submission that Trish had her in, and then she got out of it, delivered that DDT. I was like, holy crap. Yeah. Like, and the whole ripcord into the suplex sequence, just great pro wrestling here. That's all.
The crucifix bomb. Oh,
that went from, like, the ripcord for 2 to the suplex for 2 to the crucifix bomb for 2. Yeah. I was just like, my goodness.
Yeah, she was going in.
Well, this is just darn fun because now we're in the middle of the stream and we get to talk about the fact that Stu Grayson has re-signed at AEW.
Oh, that's amazing!
That's fantastic.
Wow.
Tony Khan put out the tweet.
To Stu. He really showed that it was a mistake, not, resigning me immediately. On the indies, the things that he was doing in C4 Wrestling, the things that he was doing out in Canada was incredible. I think when he had that tweet about after the match with Evil Uno and Mox, where he put out that tweet where he was like, yo, Mox, like, you were out of line. Like, that's my bro. Like, I'm about to pull up on you. I think that tweet, like, really inspired him. And then the performance he just had, it was like, no, I'm going to get me a contract again, bro. So shout out to Stu Grayson, man. That's incredible, man. He's cool.
I'm so happy to see it. I actually said before ROH was even fully rebooted, I was like, Stu Grayson would in ROH makes so much sense to me. I don't know if we'll ever see it. That. Like, it seems like he'll probably walk back into that Dark Order picture, but he just feels like the kind of guy, like a Stu Grayson pure match. Sign me the F up.
Damn, the AEW tag division with Stu and Evo back in there. Oh my.
Delicious.
My. Ooh.
And now that we have the trios division too, they could use a little bit of a replenishment over in that tag division. So that would be really, really fun to see. I've been complaining about the Dark Order feeling a little directionless for a while now, so I'm happy to see it. And I was also happy to see Matt Sydal and Christopher Daniels versus the Outrunners, Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, who super fun. They had a pretty standout appearance on Dark. People were like, who are these guys that just walked in here from 1986? What a blast, and good workers too. I was really impressed by Christopher Daniels and Matt Sydal in this match. I don't know if
Yep.
that's off base, if that was me underestimating, but I felt like they worked really well together. And considering they haven't had a ton of reps of late, I was like, well, they
Yep.
didn't miss a beat.
Mm-mm.
I was very happy to see that. So a really, really strong match here. The Angels Wings and the lightning spiral, if I can talk, for the win. Sydal and Daniels, really great considering it's been 16 years and part-timers.
That's crazy.
And then we got Aussie Open coming out after this. Fletcher talking about how he was 7 years old when Daniels and Sydal were ROH tag team champs.
There's some people that are watching the show that weren't alive when they were tag team champs, and that's just like, what, dude?
That is gross. That is gross.
Seriously.
Oh man, it's like whenever I see, like, I'm a baseball fan. Whenever anyone's like, he's getting older, now he's in his mid-30s. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Don't tell me that.
Or even worse when they're like, he's getting older. He's going to be 26 this year, and they're like, wait, what did you just say?
Hold
on.
on.
I'm fight you.
Relax.
I'm going to fight you. I like the Outrunners. I think they need, ROH needs more. All of wrestling always needs more teams like this that are going to be kind of great characters and serious contenders, and always like just going to fit a great role. I think they played a great role here. CD and Matt Sydal. I love the point that Caprice made here. He's like, if you're in a tag team with Christopher Daniels, he's trying to win a tag team championships. He's not just in a tag team with anybody for nothing. Like every time he's had a tag team partner, they've won tag team championships. He's one of the best tag team pro wrestlers in the history of wrestling in every company he's ever been in. So he's this is going to be cool. And then they were interrupted at the end here by a pretty tremendous tag team, one of the best tag teams in the whole world. Aussie. Oi. Yeah. So Aussie Open for ROH champions, tag team champions, they are probably my pick right now next to Top Flight. If we're talking about that, because they are on fire.
They absolutely are. I loved him being like, yeah, you were champion when I was 7. It's 2023, and now we're the best in the world.
Yes.
Just really great and effective. And I loved, they really played into the crowd reactions here. You mentioned Caprice. It wouldn't be a Thursday night if we weren't putting Caprice and Ian over. My God.
How incredible were they the whole time?
You don't realize how much it adds until you have bad announcers. And then you don't realize how much it adds even more until you hear great announcers. Like the gap between a good announcer and a great announcer is so wide. And right here, like even in the match between Athena and Hyan, like he had said something about like, see, that's a rookie mistake. A veteran like Athena is going to recover quicker, and she's taking too long to get to the top. Like all those little things just bring the story together so well.
They are perfect with those little bridges like that. Both of those guys always have little nuggets that like, you're like, damn, that's just like a great thing to add to the match that nobody else would really think about. But they're just such a tremendous duo that they have to be on TV forever. They're incredible.
They really are.
In 30 years, I want to be like, damn, they're still going at it. These guys are incredible.
And they're great on their own, but that when they're locked in as a duo, just nobody better.
Can't be beat.
Chris Mueller saying, can we take a moment to appreciate how great the wrestling names Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd are?
Yeah.
Yuta versus Connor's rules. We're going to talk about that in a minute. And Athena is a badass. Agreed with all of that. Truth Magnum and Turbo Floyd, like truly just picture perfect. It's not like
throwback gimmicks can sometimes be like, but these guys really are doing it right. They know exactly how to do this thing with the colors, the entrance. They're just posing just like 80s wrestlers would. I love it.
They're not going out there to be cheesy. They're letting the cheese just be there. You know what I mean? It's not like, oh, look at how cheesy we are. They're just like, this is just what we are. And it happens to be very fun and from the 80s.
Exactly.
Oh, man. So we move along to a hell of a main event. And I got to tell you, pure matches are maybe my favorite matches. And when you have a heel that abides by the rules, but also still cheats, this is some of my favorite work Wheeler Yuta's ever done, man. Like, this is so good from him. He feels so much more natural as a heel. He feels so perfectly matched with the pure division. I don't think of Clark Connors as a pure wrestler. I didn't think of Mike Bennett as a pure wrestler. A lot of guys I don't view as pure wrestlers that when put in a pure match, it brings this whole other side of them out that you didn't really know. It gets them back to the most fundamental version of being a pro wrestler that you can. The way that they use the rope breaks, the way that they use those punch, the one closed fist punch that you get, just to perfection, and a hell of a main event here. What a blast. Wheeler, of course, winning, and we're going to talk about what happens at the end here, but I want to give you a minute to talk about the match because they gave this a decent amount of time, too. I thought this was an absolute blast.
Wheeler Yuta. Oh, my God. I don't know. I think that's probably one of the best wrestling stories being told right now of like, initially, when Wheeler Yuta joined the Blackpool Combat Club, I wanted it to be Daniel Garcia. That was the homie. I was like, this should have been Daniel. A lot of people saw it. A lot of people said it. But
still
then it still should do. Totally. Forever. No, I mean, salsa on the apron, Daniel Garcia. I don't know. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. But yeah, initially it was like, Wheeler Yuta, I don't know. But since he's been with these people and the story that they're telling of like, no, I'm a part of the best squad. I have the best teachers, the teachers that'll rip your head off. There's Claudio, there's Moxley, there's Danielson somewhere in the woods, in the forest there. But the way that they've turned him into that and the champion that he's become as the pure champion, the things that he was doing in this match, the heelish, dickish ways of just manipulating Clark Connors throughout this match, trying to manipulate the ref into doing slimy things. The way that he used his closed fist on Clark Connors, where he's like, oh, I got one ref. All right, here it goes. Watch this whole thing. He's just a slimy, dickish heel that has been elevated 25 steps up being a part of the Blackpool Combat Club. I don't know if is there a real Blackpool Combat Club where these guys go to train together? Because if it is, we need to see it. And they've shown videos, but like, is it real? Because it feels like he's really learned something from the best wrestlers in the world and applied it to who he is. This is one of the craziest runs and the craziest transformations I've seen in a wrestler in a long time. Wheeler Yuta is like, no, for reals, I'm a bad motherfucker. I will break your leg right now. I'll punch you in the mouth. I'm the best champion in the world. And then what he did, I was like legit left with my jaw open of like the challenge he made. Cause it's like, I don't think you could do that. Can you do that? Can he do that, Kate? He could do that?
I don't think it goes that way. We do have a chat that was saying exactly what you did. Brett Lockman saying Yuta has become a mood. Laughed so hard at I still have one, right? And then boom. Yeah. Happy wrestling, you two. Happy wrestling to you two.
Thank you.
I love a heel that goes into a pure match and his whole thing is, how can I toe the line with the rules here?
Right.
Instead of like the babyface should look at the rules and say, okay, I'm going to operate within them. Yuta uses them as okay, I'm going to break the rules in these specific places. It's such great tactical stuff. And it makes them so much more interesting when those rules come into play in the psychology of a match. Absolute blast. Couldn't agree more with you. Blackpool Combat Club as heel for me. Wheeler Yuta especially felt like he looked kind of cheesy in them babyface promos.
He did.
Not great. I like this from him. It feels authentic. It feels right. And then what happens next? We're going to talk about it in a second. But before we talk about what happens next there, we're going to talk about what happens next here. We're going to pass this show right off to Cresta Star, who, man, she's been in our little backstage for a little bit. You guys are going to want to see her fit, okay? You guys are going to want to see the look that she's bringing to the table.
Yes.
And then Joel's going to be here too. But
Joel's here too.
It's Taya's last match in Impact, it looks like. So You're going to want to stay tuned to hear them talk about that. But we're going to talk about this real quick. Wheeler Yuta says he's done with the students of these dojos. He's calling out the teacher. He's calling out Shibata.
What?
Holy effing S, right?
What do you mean? I was like, no, you can't. I don't think you could do that. You can't call out Shibata. I don't think that's how this works. But no, he did it.
He right sure did. And Claudio came down and was like, seal of approval, young man.
He's like, great job.
100%.
Son, you did a great job. Yes, exactly.
What?
Exactly as we talked about back there.
Yeah, exactly. We're gonna see Yuta walking around with a coffee next week. It's gonna be great.
Yeah, exactly. No, this is great. And is this match gonna be at Supercard of Honor, Kate? Like,
I would imagine because it's in California, right? And the LA dojo's right there.
Oh,
that's what I'm thinking.
Wow.
Holy crap! You are gonna see a loaded card. I am jealous.
That's crazy.
Jealous.
That's crazy.
One more super chat before we get out of here and hand this over to Cresta and Joel to talk about everything going on with Impact. We got Brandon Joseph saying, given the possible matches for Supercard, how many titles do we see changing hands to set the base for the new era of ROH? Well, we have to establish tag champs, right?
Yep, that's the one. I don't see Yuta losing the belt to Shibata if they do that. Athena, I don't think she should lose the belt either. I do see Eddie Kingston though becoming the new Ring of Honor World Champion. Like, if anything, the main one, I think Kingston is our next Ring of Honor World Champion. So that's important. Yeah,
and as far as the 6-man goes, I don't know because we don't really know what Brian Cage's status is. But if they're setting this other trio up, they're not. It doesn't seem like they're a real trio. It seems like
they just kind of put together. They're not like an established trio. So
they were like, Air Fox, let's hang out. So
yeah.
I'm gonna guess they retain as of right now. That's assuming that what we think is getting set up is going to be the card as well. But I do think Eddie Kingston's going to win. I will probably cry like a baby at it. I will be so happy. I think Athena retains. If you asked me 6 months ago, I would have said, well, it was going to be Athena, but she's doing so much on the main right now.
No, let Athena keep that belt. She's great.
Yeah, she's doing such great work. Such great work. Oh, wait, and she's facing Yuka, right? So she's not even facing Willow. So, she's definitely retaining. But I think that's good. I think a first pay-per-view out of the gate like that, you kind of want that establishment.
Yep, totally.
So we are going to go ahead and hand this off to Cresta. I'm going to take our little overlay off. I'm going to add... I feel like I should add Joel first because I feel like Cresta needs like a big reveal.
I honestly think that's the right choice.
I think it is too. Joel, how are you?
I'm great. How are you guys doing?
We're doing pretty well. We just watched a really cool wrestling show. How was the Impact show? Impact.
I tell y'all, it's completely different from Ring of Honor, but it's like the best way possible. And I think that's one thing that's cool about this post show is you guys get to talk about like real graps, like the pure stuff, and then we get to tune in and talk about Johnny Swinger for 2 hours. Which I love. I do love it.
And what's the old dude's name? Mike Jackson? Was he on the show tonight?
Not tonight. maybe he'll show up in Multiverse of Matches and have a big old banger with Ricky Choshu. I don't know.
Yeah, seriously.
Oh my God. Well, we gotta bring on the star of the show.
Zoom in my camera. You see the lies behind me.
Look at this. Look at this. I'm not kidding. I was like, I don't remember where it is in the show, but there was a point where I was like, I laughed as I was talking because I saw Cresta drying her mustache glue.
I was making sure it stayed down, and I wasn't going to do this, but we can all blame Joel Pearl because he called me a coward in the DMs. Wow. And mama ain't raised no bitch. So now you guys got the Fu Manchu going on. I put beads in it just for you guys.
You put beads in it? I don't know what I love more, that like you had it just sitting around, like that it was just available to do, or that you were like, not only am I coming in with a little mustache, I'm coming in with the full Manchu, like the mustachiest mustache with accessories on short notice.
Very dope.
First of all, I had to impress UK and Reg. It's my first time working with you guys. I have to impress y'all. Let you know I'm not hacking around.
No,
not the full screen. The lines.
There it is. No, look at that.
Now my mustache coming off. I'm laughing too much. Hold on.
You got to be serious for the whole Impact show. So your mustache.
Oh yeah.
It's an extremely serious wrestling program.
This is a serious wrestling program brought to you by Sean Rossap.
That's right. Hey, real quick, Kate and Reg, one thing from ROH that like stood out to y'all this week. Let's get that out there.
Ooh, Reg, you go first.
The one thing that stood out for me this week was honestly probably the embassy, like I was saying, like, because for a while I wasn't super into their whole 6-man or the whole trios thing, but tonight they really showed fire. They put all those monsters together, and those monsters tried to rip Dalton Castle and the boys apart. So yeah, the embassy.
Wheeler Yuta called out freaking Shibata. So
yeah.
I'm gonna go with that.
Yes.
Sneaky cool things though. Madison Rayne, this was her best match since she's come over to the AEW ROH brand.
Really
this
was
really, really fun. Trisha Adora doing great work. But yeah, we're gonna have a lot of fun doing this handover to
yes. We appreciate y'all.
She comes on and she's like, I gotta impress. And it's like unbelievably impressive human being with or without a mustache. But like, my God.
I can't laugh. I literally can't laugh.
No laughs.
Nothing's funny about what's funny about wrestling. This is serious business.
It's very serious.
Damn it.
Oh my God. She might be turning heel. She's got it's the beginning of it.
Let me
Corporate Cresta.
Yikes.
All right. Well, Reg and I are going to get out of here. Stay tuned to hear all about, I can't believe you guys are going to be talking about Taya's last match, and she's debuting at a Rampage, it sounds like. So have a blast. Stick around.
Before you get out of here, I just want to say this. This is the second time that Tony Khan has done this to Impact Talent.
Yo, I'm tired of him spoiling it for me.
Oh.
He's done this twice in Canada. He did it with Taya last night, and he did it when they were in Toronto. He did it with the Kingdom, brought them out on Rampage.
Yeah.
Did you just kick them? Wow.
No, they took themselves out. They took themselves out. Yeah.
I have to zoom out because the lies.
That is so funny. Cresta, how are you?
I am well. I've missed you guys. I was so sick last week, and then as soon as I recovered, my cat got sick. I don't know what happened, but I am back through the power of necromancy, the specter of Bob Backlund, and the spirit of the mustache. So
let's get to it. Hello, friends. We're back again. It's March 16th. It's your Impact Wrestling post show. I am at Joel Pearl. And as always, maybe it's been a while because I feel like I haven't been, as always, joined by the one and only, my ride or die, Cresta Star. Cresta, welcome back. Are you feeling tip-top again?
I am feeling like Rick James. I want to be your lover. I'm so glad to actually be off the floor. I could watch wrestling without having like pus in my eyes. I was so sick. I don't know what happened, but hopefully I'm skinnier. And the power of this mustache.
It's going to get you there. Oh my God, it does things. That's amazing. If you're listening in audio, you can leave the 5 stars, or you can go to youtube.com/Fightful and you can absolutely see what Crest is wearing because, buddy, it's a treat.
I'm only here for the people. Call me Joe Hendry. I'm living my very best life. You say my name and my mustache appears. This is your fault. I wasn't going to do this.
True.
And you called me a coward. So that's not me. So I had to let you know.
Well, we're here to talk about Impact for March 16th. It's 316 Day, also known as Owen Hart Day. Next week is Impact Sacrifice. I have to, I'm sorry, hold on. Let's try that. Take 2. Next week is Impact
Sacrifice.
Thank you. And we're back. And we're going to be doing a post show for that next Friday night, along with our Impact post show. And then the week after that is March 30th, which also happens to be a Thursday. So the Multiverse of Matches post show will effectively be our regular Impact post show.
We're going to be busy. Hefty.
We're going to start at like 1 a.m. if I have any inkling as to how long that show might go. I'm looking forward to it, though.
So am I.
It's going to be real good. And maybe y'all want to toss a thumbs up on this video, and maybe y'all want to donate a super chat, get your question or statement read on the air, be like our pal Jambeard, who starts us off saying we need Joel Pearl singing. There are videos of me singing on the internet. I promise they exist. including on Fightful Scraps. So go over there. Or you can donate a Humper Chat over at humperchats.com. We got a line on those. Cresta, tell them about the Humper Chats. Get them all psyched.
You head on over to humperchats.com, brother, and you put in any dollar amount, and we will read it for you live on air as my mustache tries to touch my nose. We get to keep a little bit more of the proceeds, and you help us stay on air, brother. Y'all gonna see some movie magic because my mustache is not staying down. I apologize for nothing.
This is amazing. I'm here for this. Let's get right into it. BTI opens up with, of course, our old pal, George Iceman, who's still out in the fields in the desert?
This man was on location tonight.
He thinks he's everywhere and nowhere all at once. Anyway, he brings up the fact that PCO and Edward Edwards fought in the desert and PCO was hit by a car. Who was the driver? Who could it be? Does Edward Edwards have a secret alliance? Who could want to do away with PCO? I mean, a lot of people want to do away with Edward Edwards, but we'll find out a little bit more about the PCO and Edward Edwards saga later. Because, yeah.
That was when I saw the recap, because I didn't watch Impact last week, but when I saw the recap of somebody hitting him, I was like, wait a minute, we're helping Edward Edwards. What happened? I look away for one moment, 1 week Impact, and people are getting hit by a car.
Oh, you must not be familiar with the time Conan had a kid run over by a car.
Excuse me?
Yeah, no, that happened. Eddie Kingston was working for the promotion back then.
Oh, that makes sense.
LAX was there. The OGs were there. It was a great time in Impact Wrestling. Go back and watch that.
I don't think I want to watch Child Vehicular.
It survived. It's fine. The kid survived. The match we open up with tonight is Champagne Singh, formerly Raj Singh, who's now struck it big in Vegas, taking on Zicky Dice. First of all, I love it, Cresta, when a wrestler strikes it big in Vegas, and that is their brand new character.
I love it. Come on.
The best. This was a really fun match, and I'm going to do my journalistic due diligence as Tom Hannafin did. Penzer announces DJ Ocho from Latino Mix 99.3 KRGT as bringing Swinger and Dice down to the ring, and then Hannafin gets on the microphone and he says, actually, this is DJ Adrian Heavyweight Hernandez from 1140 The Bet, KXST. And then when Singh comes down with his entourage, Mahabali Shira, that's DJ Ocho. So everyone got all messed up because it wouldn't be an Impact show with a little bit of screw up, right?
You have to give Spice. It is Impact. Like you said, Impact can only go 90%. The extra 10%, you asking for too much.
It's true. You'll never get 100%.
And sometimes it's the imperfections that make us perfect. Take this mustache that won't stay down, that is literally poking me in my septum.
This match had some imperfections of its own, but it was largely entertaining. Champagne Singh coming out with over 500 Swarovski crystals on his gear tonight and wearing red bottoms. He got them Louboutin boots. And by the way, he legitimately has red bottoms on those boots. I was looking and I was laughing. I think it's so funny and so stupid.
Do you think he spray painted them like Ray Walt was saying?
God, I hope so. I really do.
I have to say, tonight on commentary, Ray Walt was on a tear.
Yeah,
he was just so mean.
But we had Gia Miller for this opening contest, so she was kind of like, I am the fashionista. But anyway,
somebody said he spray painted it backstage.
I mean, it was probably Gia. So she gets snarky, she gets spicy too. Zicky Dice had a kind of rough monkey flip that Champagne Singh had trouble doing the flip over, and he just kind of screams, "Oh shit!" And the censors get it. There's an eye poke, and they swing wildly. I like that Zicky Dice takes the eye poke, and then his immediate reaction is, "I'm just going to swing." Because eventually I might just punch the guy. There's good stuff there. They do a double clothesline. They both go down. Zicky gets a kip up, which I think surprised a lot of people. Zicky Dice is like surprisingly agile. He's a bigger dude. You get it. It's an entertaining match. Singh wins with what he calls now the champagne pop, which is like a powerbomb set up into like a DDT fall. It looks really good. It's just one of those moves where Singh's a smaller guy. So in the wrestling business, there's that whole like, can you hit it on everybody? So I wonder if he can, but in terms of this match, it looked really good. What do you think of the match? Is there anything you want to add to this BTI opener?
It's a regular match. I did miss seeing Zicky Dice via jabroni all over the ring. I I kind of think it'd be interesting to see Zicky Dice start winning, and Johnny Swinger hasn't won anything yet. But yeah, it's a match. I don't have anything else to add. Unfortunately, I'm sorry. I liked it, but it's a match.
We'll talk a lot more about Zicky Dice and Swingman.
Yes.
A little bit later tonight. Jambeer with the super chat. Joel, is a proud Canadian, you better recognize my profile picture. Apparently, it's nightmare fuel to some chatters. That, Cresta, I don't expect you to know who Snit is.
No, girl. That does look like Nightmare Fuel or the last boss from Earthbound.
So YTV, which was like the kids channel in Canada, had they called them VJs or DJs that were video jockeys, and they were kids VJs. And then there was this thing called Snit, where the afternoon hours when the kids come home from school, he would be like the sidekick. And apparently Snit's like coming back because nostalgia. We were kids back then, and now we're all in our late 20s and 30s. So Snit is the guy. I grew up with Snit.
He reminds me of what I guess the American version would be Stickly on Nick in the Afternoon.
There you go. I'll take that. Hey, listen, we all grew up with something on the TV, right?
Yeah. I mean, my TV wasn't black and white, so I wouldn't know.
Impact opens with Gresham and Sydall versus Decay. You sound like my wife. I swear to God, I'm not that old. Oh, and by the way, actually, yeah. So Mike from Indeed, by the way, check out Indeed on Fightful Overbooked. PJ Phil, he's not just training to wrestle. He is a former Super Kicked, that's a Toronto indie, tag team champion.
Mm-hmm.
He and the man is all of like 50-something years old. Yeah, 5 foot nothing and kicking ass in the ring. So anytime anyone can get it.
I will never say anything about nobody's height. From a very young age, Rey Mysterio showed me that height is nothing. Height means nothing.
That's right. Anyway, Gresham Speedball versus Decay. It's Crazy Steve and Black Tortoise. This is a great match. This is such a fun, high-flying, toe-biting match.
Yes.
So much fun. Gresham randomly hitting a forearm to the back of Tortoise's head as he's blocking Crazy Steve while Speedball's going for the pin. I like little things like that. The around the world kick, as we call it, apparently Veda Scott calls it the tornado kick. I was wrong. Speedball gets that onto Tortoise and then goes for ultimate weapon. And then you can see in the back of the shot that Crazy Steve's being held back again, which I really love. And then that ends up getting the win. It's Speedball pinning Black Tortoise. The two men, the winners, they kind of smack each other with honor on the arm, and then eventually they shake hands. And then later on, we get a match set up. It's going to be Gresham and Speedball 2 at Sacrifice in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. If you didn't know, that's where they're going to have Sacrifice in Windsor, Ontario, Canada. For the first time since, the pandemic. Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Sacrifice where?
In Windsor, Ontario, Canada.
Oh, wow. I don't think I caught that, though. Where is it going to be at? One more time.
Tell me about this match, and did you enjoy it?
So I did like that Speedball Mike Bailey and Gresham were working together in tandem, especially with Gresham being so selfless, which I thought was really nice. It is about time someone mess with Speedball's toes. Why are you wrestling with no shoes? I'm always here for a good heel spot. When he bit his toe, I popped because I'll always be wishing for it. I wish for that, or when I see Matt Riddle, someone step on his toe, I'm like, I can't wait. I don't like that Decay lost, but I understand why. I like that it did set up the match later on, but also was like, I wouldn't mind seeing Gresham and Speedball in a tag team. But then again, these are just really two superb wrestlers that I always want to see wrestle together. You know what I mean? So overall, I thought the match was good. I can't wait to see them both at Sacrifice because that one's going to be good. The last one they did was good. So this is going to be great. I can't wait. And I'm hoping for a third one. I hope this one ends up with Speedball winning. So there's a third match later on. So
I think that's where we're going to go. And on top of that, you can go one of two ways with it. I like the idea of both men having each other's numbers, but also respecting each other so much that they continue teaming up and maybe eventually get themselves a tag team title shot against Ace of Beys or whoever holds the tag titles at the time.
Yeah.
Whether or not they do that, or they do something that's like, we're 1-1, and now the winner is going to be the number one contender for either the X Division or the World Championship after Rebellion, I'd be fine with that too. But
okay.
But I do agree with you. This match is probably going to go for a second, or for a third, I should say, with Speedball getting the win at Sacrifice. I don't see why not.
If I'm going to piggyback off of sorry, what you said about them teaming up again. I could see them teaming up, challenging Ace of Beys, losing, and then being mad at each other for the loss. And that's how you set up the third match. And it gives Ace and Bey a really good tag team victory over not so much an established team, but a really good team in general. And to me, that's worth its weight in gold. That's a good rub for everybody.
Yeah, exactly. And I agree with that. I think that's a really good way to go. Gia Miller's backstage with Kazarian, Swann, and Josh Alexander. Josh mentions that the team, those three, are sharing 7 tag title reigns, 7 X Division championship reigns, and 3 world title reigns. That's a pretty impressive group of guys right there. And then, of course, Macklin has an air tag on that Impact World Championship, so he comes and walks into the shot, and he's just like, I can see that you're tagging with these non-threats because you've already beat them. And of course, Swann gets in Macklin's face and is like, we can settle this right now. Macklin's like, nah, we're cool. He walks off. The Macklin head games became a huge thing tonight, especially in the finish of the main event, which we'll talk about later. But I don't hate when Macklin comes into these particular segments.
Yeah, it makes sense because I feel like a lot of the times before, Macklin felt like he wasn't being heard. And when you have someone like Bully Ray who was interrupting, it was kind of just seemed nonsensical. This is like making a point. He's always going to be in your back of your mind or in your ear. Like, Alexander, you've been ducking me. I'm tired of you ducking me. Furthermore, you're surrounding yourself around NPCs, for the lack of a better word, especially people that I've beat, people you've beat. So what's going on? Are you scared? You don't want to put yourself along with me so I can't keep an eye on you? I get it. And it kind of shows Alexander's weakness. And while I don't like it, I do like the idea that Macklin could be the one to take it off Alexander. And not because I don't want Alexander to be champion, but I find myself, and not just this promotion, many promotions, like, you guys need a break. You've been champs for a very long time. Go be a family man for like a couple of weeks. Come back. I'm ready for a second run. You know what I mean? But it's giving me, like you said, it sets the seeds for the main events, but it's giving me the idea that, are you going to lose it at Sacrifice?
It's entirely possible. We're going to find out.
We're going to find out today. Not today. The 24th, 5th.
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
Next week. Gia Miller is backstage again with Giselle Shaw, Jay Vidal, and Savannah Evans. Giselle's like, I wasn't unsuccessful in my match for the Knockouts title last meet because Deanna cannot beat Mickie James. She's making sure Giselle doesn't, and that's because Deanna is J.E. Ellis. She's jealous. And then Sacrifice, they announced it's going to be Deanna versus Giselle Shaw. I'm into that. Very excited for that. We'll run down the card later on. And then in roll our favorites, Zicky Dice and Swingman. Oh, baby. They challenged Gia to the match for Swingman's first win. And Gia's like, no. And then Jay's like, whoa, that's a clash of styles. The only thing clashing here is your outfit, to which Swingman calls Jay Vidal Adrian Street's seamstress. And Dice is like, wait a minute. I got an idea. This guy's on the active roster, but he's not a wrestler. So why don't you go ahead and face him, Swingman? They're pointing at Jay Vidal. And Swingman's like, that's perfect. I can beat you in under a minute. They drive off. And then Giselle turns to Jay Vidal and says, do they actually know that you're a wrestler? I love this segment. This is so stupid.
This segment was hilarious. What really sent me is at the end when they pointed at him, he said, off to San Martino's office. I'm like, yo, you are collectively the worst. The two of you. It was so stupid because I'm thinking to myself too, like, bro, you don't watch the product? Jay Vidal can wrestle. How you think he got here?
Oh, God. Well, they have their match a little later on. You know what? Screw it. Let's talk about it. Jay Vidal, by the way, looks just fantastic. Yes, he is a legitimate wrestler, and he's very good at it. He takes it to Swingman, and Swingman is acting shocked the entire time. Eventually, Swingman gets a cheap shot in after Zicky Dice gets thrown out, and then Swingman goes after Jay Vidal, gets him in a camel clutch, and then Savannah Evans pulls out Jay Vidal, and then Shaw and Evans get thrown out. And then Deonna Purrazzo shows up and tries to beat down Giselle Shaw, but then Evans stops her. Security keeps them apart. Jay Vidal hits a single leg drop kick, gets the win. This is like a stupid match, but it starts off really great, and it's a great showcase for Jay Vidal while Swingman looks like an idiot. What do you think of the match?
I have to point out the highlight of the match was right in the beginning when Jay Vidal hit him with that drop kick. Zicky Dice goes into that corner. That's Zicky Dice. I'm sorry. Johnny Swinger falls into the corner and looks at Zicky Dice and says, "Why didn't you tell me this kid could work?" I died. I was like, yo, Johnny Swinger, I want him to challenge for the championship, even if he wins it for a day. I think what he's doing right now with this stupid run, this is the true last rodeo.
This is a true last rodeo.
This is so good. This is so good. At this point, I low-key want him to legitimately get the 50 wins and become champ for at least a day. At least a day. At least one day. He deserves it. This is funny. This is funny. And like you said, Jay Vidal looked great. And Swinger looked like a jabroni in the process. Swingman deserves justice.
That's so funny.
I'm glad you got me on this swingman trace. I remember when I first started watching, I was like, I cannot take this, man. And you're like, wait, you'll be sorry. And now look at me being sorry.
I just want to see. I want to see him get that one win, and then he just over celebrates. And then he's gonna go over to Santino or to if Scott D'Amore is back in time, if Dad's back in time, he's just like, can I have my title shot now? I got my win. And then they're just like, we said 50. And he's like, I don't care. I got my win.
I think we could doctor some footage. I think it's time for us to do some dishonest investigative journalism.
We're working on some deep fakes here.
Yes. Yes, me and you will put on the Swinger Zicky Dice costume.
Hashtag deep fakes for Swingman.
I feel like that's wrong.
Very wrong. Oh, anyway, let's talk about Steve Maclin versus Heath. There's not a lot to talk about here because this match is just a match to show how relentless and aggressive Steve Maclin is. Heath gets like 5 moves in, and that's it. And then tag him, bag him, mayhem for all, KIA. Maclin wins, and that's it. And then my favorite part is like Heath walking up, selling as like Macklin's just kind of there in the ring, celebrating and waiting for them to finish the segment. Heath was just like in and out, doesn't care, got his ass beat, and that's it. Anything to add to this match? Because it was very one-sided.
I don't, because all I wrote was for Steve Maclin versus Heath. Heath is gonna die.
That's all it was.
Sorry, Heath.
It was fine in that we knew that Maclin needed like that aggressive victory. It continues to make him look good, and that's what we have to do on the way to Rebellion because we have a big title match between Josh Alexander and Steve Maclin. We gotta, and then on top of that, like he's got to look really good because Josh Alexander might not be, and we're about to talk about a little bit more of why that matters as we get to the main event. But let's fast forward. Death Dolls are in the back. And Rosemary saying that Killer Kelly wasn't interested in their deal, but the Coven are now involved in their web. Jessica gets excited at the mention of magic again, and then mentions like, I love the tarot cards. I love all this stuff. It's so fun. I love that segment last week. I'm glad that they played it off again this week. Taya is like, why don't you and I, Rosemary, handle the match? And then Jessica, you can enjoy what you enjoy most, bottomless mimosas. And Jessica's like, yay, she's a child. She's Ralph Wiggum, and it's perfect. She goes running off. She frolics away. And then Taya's like, we got to keep Jessica away from the magic because she can't figure out that she's actually Havoc. And Rosemary's like, nope, that's a you problem. You're creating this issue. I don't care if Havoc comes back. And that's it. Jessica's just like, hey, y'all coming? And that's the end of the segment. Now that we know that Taya is done with Impact effectively
immediately.
I mean, they might play off a couple of things to write her off officially on next week's show, but we'll talk about the Knockouts tag match in a minute. This has got to be the beginning of the end. We got to be foreshadowing something, right?
I mean, I don't know. I will say I'm a little bit jaded by this because I felt like AEW spoiled this for me, man. And I'm happy for Taya, but I wish that it wasn't so unceremonious. You know what I mean? I wish that there was a little bit way to put a nice bow on it because we had fears that it was going to be, she's going to turn back to Havoc right away and then Taya. And then they made a beautiful little story of it. And just for it to be like, it's kind of a little disappointing, but I get it. Now I feel like if Death Dolls, well, well, I guess they would just be Death Dolls or Decay again. If they just want to go at it as a regular duo, I could see it. And you have Jessica come back as Havoc. I could see it. But at the same time, it's yesterday's show sucked the wind out of this segment for me personally.
Well, if you don't want the wind sucked out of you,
you said suck.
You can go ahead and subscribe to Fightful Select, where we do have notes on Taya Valkyrie joining AEW, what kind of led to that decision, and how we knew, and also news and notes from Dynamite last night that include Saraya, who got fined for saying the word twat on national television. It's real. Saraya did tweet about it, and we have more information about what came from that incident and the things that the outsiders might be doing over on FightfulSelect.com. $5 gets you in. You want Vince McMahon to basically do the most Vince McMahon thing ever back at WrestleMania 35, including wanting to split up the New Day on multiple occasions, and also when asked about certain other storylines, saying, well, fuck them. Well, you can get that at Fightful Select for $5. Or you just want to ask Grapsody. You want to ask the guys every other week about their favorite who knows what and what does who. You can do that at FightfulSelect.com or Sour Graps twice a week. Alex, sometimes Alex and Kate, and Coexisting After Dark with Rob and Maggie. A whole bunch of stuff. Whole lot of stuff for FightfulSelect.com. $5. Best in the business, baby.
Best in the business, baby. Get all your scoops here. They're going to report what we're saying anyway.
That's right. That's right. Oh, by the way, M.A. Solko, as I said it, saying is Taya AEW, Taya EW's fear of magic foreshadowing her fate. I think that's where we're going. And I'm fine with it, because if they knew that they were going to be writing off Taya, now's the time.
I see what's happening here, and a life for a life. That's what I see what's happening here. You ever watch anime, Joel?
Continue.
All right. Well, there's this anime called Full Metal Alchemist, and there's this thing called equivalent exchange. If you get Havoc back, what are you gonna give up for Havoc? Can't be just Jessica. It's gotta be Taya too. To the Shadow Realm, Yugi.
We're sending Taya to the undead realm forever and ever as the prisoner of Father James Mitchell.
Yep. You and Eric Young can hold hands.
I mean, listen, I don't really want them to kill off Taya. I'd rather they just hold her just in case she comes back at one point.
But this is also Impact Wrestling. Do you really die? And do you ever leave if you don't die?
Impact kills you and keeps you dead, yes.
PCO got buried in the desert. He was already dead. He was already dead.
We also saw him raise his arm up when he wasn't really dead.
We didn't see Eric Young die. We just saw him get stabbed.
This is the only place. The only place where they kill you and you're done, and that's it. That's the ball game.
Well, either way, I do think that Ty is gonna go to the Shadow Realm, Yugi, and if she wants to come back, she might come back as a Su Young. I don't know, spooky shenanigans, Taylor Wilden. I don't know. I'd be here for it. A spooky Taya Valkyrie. She could. That's not. That name is taken. I said she could be Valhalla, but nah, that's already taken.
Well, I mean, she could be. She'd probably be a better version of it. Anyway, so the designer backstage, and Sammy's talking about how, Diener's talking about how Sammy wanted to join something bigger than himself. He wanted to join the design. He said for step 5, Callahan tried to earn their trust. And then since day 1, people have said that this is all a ploy. Maybe it is a ploy. But that question might need answering, because last week was step 6 and Callahan lost his match. And then in runs Sammy Callahan, and he's yelling and screaming. It's like, how can I pass step 6 when the Angels and Khan screwed me? And then Diener's like, well, step 6 wasn't about you beating Rhino. It was about taking your punishment like a man. And then the design hadn't forgot that, Callahan cost Khan his match at No Surrender versus Frankie Kazarian. So Callahan's like, I'll take my punishment like a man. The segment was okay. It didn't really wow me. What did you think?
I don't want to say this, but I'm going to say this. I'm kind of getting bored. I want to see where this is going. And at this point, I'm like, it can't be anything besides Sammy turning on him. It can't be anything else. Because at this point, it don't make no sense. Like, this is, I don't know. I'm sorry, I got mustache hair in my mouth. I'm sorry. It's kind of getting to that point where I was with Honor No More, where it kind of just seems like a little repetitive and a lull. So I'm either ready for it to take it to next gear or something's got to give. Because like it's trepidation more than anything else. And I don't know. Am I missing something? I'm willing to be wrong here. I did take a week off. I could still have worms in my brain.
No, I don't think you're wrong. I think there's a little bit of killing time to get to I think Rebellion is where they pay all of this off, and that's kind of the only spot they can do it, because they're not going to do it in multiverse of matches. They're not going to do it in Sacrifice. And because of multiverse of matches, it kind of messes up whatever plans they had going into Sacrifice, because now they have a live show, and it's just, it's a weird transitional time for them because of this big New Japan and Impact show.
Yeah, maybe that's it. Because I normally typically like the design and their segments, but tonight just felt like, I don't know, there was a better way to do that. Instead of having your team effectively lose, you could have just jumped them in the ring. You know what I mean? I don't see the point of that. And if anything, it doesn't make you, it doesn't do what you think you're doing.
Yeah, exactly. I don't want to move on to this one. Tommy Dreamer's in the back talking to somebody, and in walks Mickie James. Mickie James says, next week it's Tommy and Mickie versus Bully and Masha. I'm like, oh, please, God, don't do this. Mickie protests, which I'm like, yes, please, God, do that. And Tommy's like, no, I want to do it. And then in walks Jordynne Grace, and she's like, maybe Mickie shouldn't be taking this tag match a day before a Sacrifice, because if Mickey's not careful, she'll wind up tapping out again. And of course, Mickey's protest is that, Tommy and Bully have their match at Sacrifice, and it's a busted open match, which, as I mentioned a billion times, is really just a first blood match, which they confirmed tonight, finally. A busted open match is a first blood match, FYI, so here you go. This segment is basically me dreading this match next week.
I don't get it. Why Mickie got to be sucked into this?
Oh,
why Masha got to be sucked into this?
Masha is the question. Mickie is part of the busted open crew, so she's stuck on the island with them because she's on the show. Masha Slamovich is not on the damn show. She's stuck on the island.
Okay, but Masha, you don't watch the product? Everybody who helps Bully Ray gets like you don't watch the product? What's happening here? I don't understand this. I get it, but I feel like there's a better, interesting way to insert Mickie and Masha than this. How Masha get dragged into this? What she do?
Bully approached her and was nice to her, and she hates Mickie James. And Mickie James beat her at No Surrender, so she's still out for blood.
Masha, you got beat by Jordynne Grace too. There's a lot of people who beat. Oh, okay, there's two people that beat you. But I don't know. You don't watch the product. Bully Ray screws over everybody. You don't watch the product.
No, they don't have it in Russia.
I don't think she. You know what? I'm not gonna touch that one. You almost got me, gal.
She's fluent Russian. I have to assume she's from Russia. She lives there. She comes over every time there's a taping.
Every Thursday, she just hops on a plane.
She's got mad frequent flyer miles, as Masha Slamovich.
I'm sure nothing is going to prevent her from flying across the seas in Russia happening right now. Nothing at all.
No, nothing. By the way, I agree with chat. They should have just called it a first blood match, but unfortunately, they had to get the branding in for Busted Open. So it is a Busted Open match because Tommy Dreamer and Bully Ray are on a show called Busted Open Radio.
Y'all better hope somebody don't bleed before the other one, because if Bully Ray bleeds even a little bit, I'm like, we're in a bout.
Honestly, that's the hardest part about a first blood match too, is that if you have two people who are like quick to bleed, or someone nicks you accidentally, then guess what? You got to figure out a way to clean up this match and start again. They got to make something up if they don't, if they bleed too early, or if they don't bleed enough. Like it's a little, it's difficult.
Blood, you already know I'm not interested in this match because it's gonna be me the whole time. But that's always been a fear of mine with those matches.
I'm going to be the same for different reasons, though. I'm just going to be like, is it over yet? Is it over yet? I just don't want to watch it. Is it over yet? Is it over yet?
I don't know. Oh, my God, Emma.
Bustin' makes them feel good.
Did it.
Well, this show is officially off the rails, so let's move on to the most off the rails segment of the night. Edward Edwards comes out. This is, by the way, after we had multiple segments of PCO walking through Vegas, screaming, Eddie! With a shovel behind him being dragged. Anyway, Eddie Edwards is like, I will no longer let the past stay in the past. After Honor No More. The past is up until this moment and no longer matters. It's time to focus on myself. It's time to focus on the future at Impact. And that's what I've been trying to do. But these people will not let me do that. It's time for changes. It's time for things to come to an end. And after last week, it's officially over. Or is it?
Dun, dun, dun.
PCO is alive and well. He comes out and everyone's shocked and scared. And then Kenny King hits PCO from behind with a shovel. Was Kenny King driving the car? Is that what we're going with? I thought
it was Lish. I will stand by your man. That's what I thought.
100%.
I thought the past was behind you. Honor No More victory tour. Honor some more. Honor a little bit.
So Eddie and
Honor's open again. I'm just saying. Yeah, you're on the wrong show. Honor a little bit. Go ahead.
I was gonna say. So Eddie and King are back together again. So Honor No More never dies, especially if you watch it 7 p.m. Eastern on Honor Club and then watch the post show here on Fightful at 9 p.m. There, Eddie and King. They're just giving us the plugs. PCO goes after King, but Edwards uses a chair. PCO fights back. Both men are just trying to take down PCO. It's just a big old beatdown. They do some cool spots here and there. And then they do the Boston knee party onto the chair, onto PCO's face. And that looks gnarly. And then they follow it up with a kendo stick onto the chair. And that looked weak AF. And I wish they had kind of reversed it.
Okay, I can see what you mean.
It just didn't look good. It didn't look as impactful.
PCO was no selling the whole time. I'm just gonna go ahead and say it. He was no selling everything, so nothing kind of looked. The Boston Knee Party looked cool, but also he got up like 2 seconds later. It's like, I eat those. I get it, but like PCO was being a jerk, and I loved it. But he was no selling. Nothing faced him.
It's true. I mean, it's really true. So we're obviously gonna have to do this match again, or some semblance of a PCO match with Kenny King and Eddie Edwards. Sure.
I mean, at this point, you cannot blame Ring of Honor for not rehiring because the show is still there. You can show up. From what I understand, Willie, you out here about to beat people up and go get you some. So, I don't know. Like, maybe there might be a cute little tag team. I wouldn't hate it. I'm going to give it the benefit of the doubt because I do like the work that Kenny King has done since Honor No More broke up. I'm not just going to dunk on them. And I feel like maybe it might give Eddie Edwards something to revitalize. But then who going to work with PCO? Father James Mitchell?
Hopefully not.
That's not going to be good. Johnny Swinger?
PCO needs a friend. That's really all it comes down to.
I know who could be his friend. Say his name and he appears. PCO just needs some Joe Hendrick.
Ugh. Well, at least we got us to our next segment. Victor Kozlov's in the house. My God, it's Kozlov. We haven't seen him since WWE, but he was there. And Dango marks out shortly after Kozlov leaves his shot. And then Santino's like, my name is free. It's been free, so I own it. You can't say his name, but you can say his name. And then Henry shows up and say his name and he appears. Anyway, we all believe in Joe Hendry. Henry's like, I want to invoke my rematch clause. And Santino's like, you have the title, so what rematch clause? He's like, not my rematch clause. I want to invoke Brian Myers' rematch clause because I beat him. And after what Musa Myers did to me last week, I want to beat Myers' ass, therefore invoking his rematch clause. Santino's like, I respect it, and I make the match for sacrifice. And then Dango is getting weird, and he's like, I'm a huge fan. If you ever need me to hold a gun for you or make out with or do a thing, or maybe if you want to. Anyway, I just love you so much. You're so wonderful. And it's super awkward. And then for some reason, they make the match next week. It's Musa Myers versus Hendry and Dango. And then Dango's like, hey, you want to hang out later? You want to go to the slot machines or something? And Hendry's like, I got plans. I got something to do. And then Dango's like, no, it's cool. I gotta go. I gotta go hang out with my kid.
What is his voice?
I don't know. He's super serious. That's Dango, right? Super serious wrestler Dango.
He's marking out. I mean, I love any segment with Joe Hendry. 10 out of 10 in Tokyo Dome. I mean, Dango's just been a mark since he got here. If you think about it, he's sucking up to Bruno Sammartino. You over here? I'm over this mustache right now. I give up. It's not staying on. Sorry, y'all. The lies. I don't know when they stop with me. The lies. He was marking out with everyone, and I think it'd be cute to see them next week in the tag team. Because Dango really, for all the jokes, he's really athletic. He's such a good wrestler, you know? And I do think that it was really clever of Joe Hendry to just nip it in the bus. Like, I'm going to invoke his rematch clause. If you're a motivational speaker, you're going to be motivated to get the jump on your opponent. So I know you're going to ask for it back anyway, and I'd rather be done with you.
I like it. By the way, Emma Solko asking, does Canada have deserts? No, we don't. But global warming is a thing, so someday we may actually have deserts.
I did not know that. I didn't know Canada didn't have a desert.
Not officially. We have a lot of mountains. I'll be out in Calgary eventually, where the mountains are plentiful and beautiful or something. Anyway, Knockouts tag titles on the line. The Coven, team of Taylor Wilde and Kylan King, take on the Death Dolls. It's Rosemary and Taya this time. The Coven are the new Knockouts tag team champions, to the surprise of no one if you watched Dynamite on Wednesday night. Like I said, as we did the lead into this episode, once again, Tony Khan ruined another Impact story.
Agreed.
And it kind of sucks. I wish that they had just kind of put it off for a week or something. I just felt weird. I do really like that Kylan King spent most of the match in the match and fighting in the match. I think it was really good, especially because she's brand new. She signed a contract. She is perfect for that. The interaction with Rosemary is really good with Kylan King and Rosemary. And then Kylan King hits a huge German suplex on Taya Valkyrie. Rosemary gets a great spear on Taylor Wilde, and then King hits I love this finish. It's a pump handle inverted suplex that Kylan King hits on Taya Valkyrie, gets the pin, and we have new Knockouts tag champions. What do you think of the match? What do you think of this whole Kylan King stuff?
Much like the segment earlier, because of AEW, it kind of sucked the air out of this. I think if I didn't know that Taya came to AEW yesterday, I'd have been like, oh, this might be a shock or whatever it is. I can imagine if you were in the crowd for the tapings, what a shock it might be. I don't know. It was hard for me to get into it because it's like, oh, so this is how they do it. And it kind of sucks because I agree with you. I wish they would have pushed it off just one more week. I wish they would have done it where you can let the shock breathe and then Taya Valkyrie goes over to whatever it is, to AEW. But there might be a segment. There might be, like you said, she goes to the Undead Realm and she's there for a little bit and we get Havoc back. The match itself was fine. I like how stiff Taylor Wilde has become, and I also agree that this was a showcase for Kylan King. But again, this to me was just the air was sucked out of this match, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, I get it. If you're following what's going on between other companies, it gets a little unfortunate, a little frustrating. ROH with the super chat, thank you, saying, and new Knockouts World Tag Team Champions, the Coven. Kylan King is making her presence felt. Also, Cresta is my spirit animal. There you go.
Listen, you know who my spirit animal is? A clown. So honk, honk. I love you.
And also ROH saying it's the Excalibuster. That's what Kylan King's finish is called, which is great. I'm a big fan of that.
That's a nice name.
Yeah, love it. So we run down the card for Sacrifice real quick. Next week, we will be here talking Impact as we always do. And on Friday night next week, we will have our post-Sacrifice show on Fightful, or the, as I call it, the post...
Sacrifice
show on Fightful. So there we go. Josh Alexander, Rich Swann, and Kazarian take on Time Machine. That is Kushida and the Motor City Machine Guns. Knockout title match, Mickie James versus Jordan Grace. Looking forward to that. Busted Open, which is a first blood match. It's Tommy Dreamer versus Bully Ray. Please let this be the end of Busted Open Island. For the Digital Media Championship, it's Brian Myers versus Joe Hendry, because we all believe Speedball versus Gresham is a big match. That's going to be there. Tag titles, it's going to be Ace of Beys versus TMDK. It's going to be Shane Haste and Bad Dude Tito representing the Mighty Dope Meal from New Japan Pro Wrestling. I'm excited for that, especially after Shane Haste gave the best promo in Impact history last week. Did you watch it, Cresta Star?
I was dying.
Please go back and watch it. If you're going to watch one thing from the week that you missed, that promo. I will
Are you trolling me?
No, so good. So good. He had a match with Speedball Mike Bailey, and he went balls to the wall in his promo before facing Speedball.
Okay. I'll take your word for it because you did give me the gift of Taz, my balls. I know. I saw it.
I saw it.
Cup. I saw it.
It's like Saraya or Trent
Saraya, brother.
Giselle Shaw takes on Deonna Purrazzo, and for the X Division Championship, Trey Miguel faces a hand-picked opponent of Santino Morelos. Who the hell is it going to be? Do you have anyone on your mind?
The first thing that came to my mind was Juice Robinson. But like, why would he come here?
Rock hard.
Johnny Swinger.
Swingman would be hilarious if he bought his way in. I don't know who it could be for Trey. It's a week before Multiverse, or less than a week before Multiverse. Do you bring in someone from New Japan? Maybe someone from the dojo?
But then who?
That's the thing. I do not know.
I don't know either. I'm lost on this one. Santino puts on his boots and gets in the ring.
I've watched him wrestle in 2023. Maybe you give it to Kevin Knight. He had a great showing in Impact for a couple of weeks.
What about Yuha Uemura?
If Yuya's cleared, that would be fun. He hasn't been seen because he took a shot to the head. So we'll see. It would be nice to see Yuya. It'll be a big return for him too, considering he's been off TV for the last few weeks.
That would be real cute.
I don't hate that. That's a good idea. And then Impact said that they're going to do a live show before Multiverse, so that's going to be a pre-show. We'll be here after Multiverse of Matches. Multiverse of, what do they call it? It's
Multiverse of Matches.
Is
Matches,
it
babes.
I thought it was something else.
Multiverse
United. Multiverse of Matches was the one a few years ago.
Oh, I'm sorry, babes. I'm stupid.
Multiverse United, Only the Strong Survive is the full title of this show for some reason.
Okay? That is almost as long as the Chris Jericho Spirit Bomb Cruise Rocket Ranger at Sea Part Death.
They're up to 5 of those now.
Jesus Christ.
Well, because they wanted to say Only the Strong Survive because New Japan's strong. That's their whole thing. And they get the dojos in LA. So that's the thing. But yeah, they just should have called it Multiverse United and that's it. Anyway, next week on the show, Deonna Purrazzo takes on Savannah Evans. Moose takes on Brian Myers. Moose and Myers take on Henry and Dango. And then Time Machine takes on The Design. That should be good. I'm looking forward to that.
That's going to be a fun show before the pay-per-view.
Yeah. Dobby the Brain Heenan drops us a super chat before we get to the main event saying, I was going to say Stu Grayson was going to be the opponent for Trey Miguel, but now that he's all elite again, I guess not. Figured being in Canada, it was possible, but not anymore. Yes, Stu Grayson is all elite again. He got re-signed to AEW after his match in Winnipeg. That's great news.
Period. We love that. I love wrestlers getting money.
I'm going to see his tag team partner this weekend, and I'm going to ask him all about it.
Get all up in his grill. Do your investigative journalism.
Buddy, it's a busy week. I got Greektown Wrestling on Saturday. I've got GCW on Sunday. And then eventually I got other stuff to do. So who knows? Regardless.
Ugh, good luck at GCW. My stomach's already doing this for you.
I'm just going to be perched. It's in a venue that I'm very familiar with because it's in like a music venue that I know almost intimately. So I know exactly where to go to like not deal with most of the shit. So
I'm just thinking of the blood, girl. Ooh.
Oh no, that's what I'm saying. I could escape it because I know where to go to not have to be watching all the stuff.
Where to go to where like concessions. I got
it's concessions backstage, which is like downstairs and like a little alcove, and that's what
I got you. I'm picking up what you're putting down.
Yeah, you get it. Let's get to the main event. It's Alexander, Swann, and Kazarian versus Ace of Beys and Kenta. First of all, Cresta Star, they fixed the Bullet Club entrance. It's no longer that squashed aspect ratio.
Yeah,
now it's just the black bars. It's properly cropped. I'm into that. I'm a bit of a film and TV nerd, so I just like it when things look and sound good. They did it well this time. This is a really fun match. I loved everything except for the finish.
Yeah, I mean, I kind of was wondering how they were going to book this because you have your tag team champions on one side, you have your world champion on the other, and on the same side that the tag team champion is KENTA. And not for nothing, there are a few names in wrestling right now where people will kiss the ground you walk on, and KENTA's one of them. So I was like, how are you going to get out of this? Because it wouldn't look bad on the team of world champions Swann, Alexander, Kazarian, if y'all lost, but who's taking that pin? Ace Austin, your current champion? Beys, your current champion? Certainly not KENTA. Then you look over on the champion side, it's like, well, Kazarian just got back, and Alexander's definitely not going on his back. Swann, Swann just lost, but come on now. I think the match itself was great. I have to point out when Ray Walt told Tom Hannafin, well, your brain is very small. Why did you cook this man like that? Oh, because he was like, oh, that's a big brain play. He's like, well, I don't understand what he would do. It's like, well, your brain is very small. I'm like, wow, that is your broadcast colleague. Honestly, a key. Honestly, Bobby Fish too was mentioned a lot during both. Anytime they mentioned these matches. So is Bobby Fish coming back? Is Bobby Fish the handpicked person for Trey Miguel?
Oh my God, no.
Because they mentioned him at the top of the show, and then they mentioned him, I think, twice during this match because he challenged, and talking about every time he's done an open challenge for Josh Alexander. But we're like, okay, but there's been a million people. Why y'all keep bringing up Bobby Fish? Now, I don't hate Bobby Fish, but why y'all keep bringing up Bobby Fish?
I hope it's Laredo Kid versus Trey Miguel.
You don't want to see the...
Where is the lie, Cresta Star?
Where's the lie?
CM Punk. Anyway.
Look in my eyes.
Let's talk about the match. The match itself was really fun, the six-man tag.
Yes.
There is some really cool stuff. I like that Kazarian is still focused on using that chicken wing as his finish, as his submission finish. That's really good. KENTA and Alexander, of course, exchanged a lot of blows early because they've got a match coming up soon.
Mm-hmm.
They get
I can't wait for that.
That's going to be real good.
Oh, just them in the ring when they were just doing this power spot, I was like,
yeah, really big
yes.
fan of that. Yeah. They do a cool spot where Josh Alexander catches Chris Bay as he's going for a Hurricane Rana, gets a massive backbreaker in, and then Swann goes for the 450, hits it, gets to 2.9, but then Ace Austin pulls out Rich Swann, knocks him out, kind of gets cocky, sits on the ring, and Josh hits him with that low body splash to the outside that looks real good. And then later on, Chris Bay sets up for his slingshot to the outside, and Kazarian meets him on the way down with a cutter of his own, taking everybody out. This was the spot of the match. It was so good and so well timed. I can't even begin to tell you why you should watch it.
It's one of those things where you can hear someone in the background yelling, oh, the humanity, oh, the man on the floor. It was such a good spot. It was a good multi-man spot. And it didn't look like, I feel like some of these big multi-man spots can look clumsy, but like you said, it was so fluid into that catch. It was really good. It was really good.
And then they get back in the ring, and Josh Alexander is about to put away Ace Austin, but he gets distracted by something. And you don't even notice that he's getting distracted. He looks like he's looking at the other side of the ring as they're kind of resetting. But no, commentary brings up that, oh, Josh is getting distracted. And he sees Steve Macklin, who's not at the top of the stage, but he's at the corner of the top of the stage where he couldn't even make his way down if he tried. And so for some reason, that gets Josh Alexander distracted. And he can't close it off on Ace Austin. And then they end up getting Ace of Beys hit the fold into the art of finesse on Rich Swann. And that's the win. It's an awful finish to a great match otherwise. We talked about earlier, Steve Macklin taking huge W's, getting huge W's. And this is a big L for Josh Alexander. He didn't take the pin, but his team still lost. There's the mental game that Macklin continues to play that factors into the match at Rebellion that we're going to get. I appreciate that. I don't appreciate the Macklin's in your head because he's standing at the top of the ring or standing at the top of the stage in the corner. That I didn't like.
I agree with that. 100%. Because literally, I'm going to try to help. Guys, if you didn't watch it, but it was literally Macklin doing this. What in the I'm a creep, I'm a weirdo is happening? This is This is the same guy who had to fight Bully Ray, who had to see his wife almost get tombstone piles. So he's going to be distracted from a.
Thank you.
Come on.
Thank
And it kind of makes Macklin look stupid. I was like, what is this? What is this? Because Macklin's not going to sneak you. Macklin's going to attack you straight up because Macklin's confident. But if you were going to do that, there's another way. What?
It was just so far. If you had Macklin sitting front row, suddenly he just came and pulled up a chair and that got Josh thrown off for a second. Cool. But because he was all the way up at the top of the stage in the corner where you had to find the camera angle to do it, that I didn't like. I thought that was
unserious. So unserious.
Again, the rest of the match was so good and there were so many bright spots. It just that took me out of it. When Josh gets distracted by something so silly, that's what does it.
It wasn't even like he was attacking. So it was literally just him just being a creep. And I'm like, again, I think there's a better way to use Macklin there. Because especially, like I said, Macklin will come at you straightforward. And he's beaten everybody in that ring, literally except for KENTA. He's beaten everybody in that, KENTA and Alexander. You've beaten everybody else in that ring. So I don't understand that. And then again, Josh Alexander's been through some shit. You literally just wrestled Bully Ray, who was doing mind games for months, bro. You think a little peekaboo is gonna stop him? And what's happening? Santino, I'm calling Joel's dad.
There are people who have never who don't get the bit, but here you go.
Come on now. They're both from Canada. Both wear glasses. Yep. Have a beer. Coincidence? I think not. The evidence speaks for itself. We could go to Maury Povich and settle this.
Scott, I'm telling you, if we can meet up in Toronto and talk about this, I'm sure we could smooth everything out.
Joel's actual parents watching this, like,
they're not watching tonight because they are on vacation, thankfully.
Come on. That's cute.
Only my parents are the ones who could be like, his beard's getting grayer. I'm like, motherfucker. Okay, I see you. Damn.
Thanks, Dad.
You're great. Anyway, therapy's great. That's Impact for March 16th. This was a really fun episode that just the finish took it out of me.
Yeah. I give it a 4 out of 5 because the finish and the Taya Valkyrie. Those are my only 2 complaints. Overall, the show progressed quite nicely on the way to Sacrifice. You don't want to blow your load, so to speak, 2 weeks out. Next week is when you're going to pump it because that very next night, that's when Sacrifice is. I just wish that we could have waited for Taya's big reveal in AEW, but also I'm really happy for her. Get your money, honey. Wrestle where you want to wrestle. But that's it. Yeah, and the finish too. There's a better way to do that.
Yeah, there was. Once again, folks, next week we will be here on Thursday night talking about Impact Wrestling. We will be here on the Friday as well, talking about Impact Sacrifice and all of that. And then the following Thursday, March the 30th, after Multiverse of Matches, Multiverse United, whatever they call it this week, we'll be there for that post show on Thursday, March 30th. And Scott D'Amore is now the president of Impact Wrestling. So, Dad, congratulations. Very proud of you. I hope I get that Nepo hire I always wanted.
Yes.
Yeah. Cresta Star, where can the people find you on the internet?
You can find me anywhere. You can type Cresta Star. That's CRESTASTARR, like a pirate. I'm on Twitch.tv every Monday and Wednesday where we watch AEW and Monday Night Raw. Thursdays, I am here with the illustrious, beautiful Joel Pearl right after the Ring of Honor post show. So make sure you tune in for that as well. I'm muggling every other day of the week, so you can follow me on Twitter. I really just shit post a lot about wrestling. So if you like that, Twitter, Cresta the Star, and Linktree in my bio. Joe Pearl, where can they find Joe Pearl? Who's that?
Who knows? Who knows at this point?
Joe Pearl, where can they find you at?
I'm easy to find. I'm at Joel Pearl, JOELPEARL. Tons of stuff going on. Just follow the stuff that I'm doing and you'll be good to go. That's it. Ladies, gentlemen, friends beyond the binary. We'll see you in the next one. Cheers.
See you next time.